Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki rewrote his own story, from birth, Kyuubi power and a harem beyond imagination, Naruto times Hinata times Sakura times Ino times Tenten times Tamari times Anko times Kurenai times Tsunade times Shizune, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto stares out the small window in his prison cell, looking at the few stars still shining in the early morning just before sunrise. In his heart, he wonders if his friends are looking down at him from the heavens, waiting for him to join them with open arms. All his friends were all killed in the many battles that enveloped Konoha since the last part of Tsunade's reign as Godime. The Hokage, along with her assistant Shizune, were the first to fall in the war against Oto, and all they have to show for their death was the fact they managed to take Yukushi Kabuto with them. Jiraiya was the next to go, falling in battle against the Akatsuki's Zetsu while trying to gather information on the organization. Team 8 and Team 10 all fell in battle against Iwa and Kumo along with Tamari and most of the Suna reinforcement. Gaara, Kankuro, Lee, and Guy all died fighting against the Akatsuki, who tried to attack Naruto after Konoha barely survived the war, even if they were able to take most of the Akatsuki with them. The rest of the more able ninjas all perished when Kiri, taking advantage of the other villages' weakened state after the drawn-out war, decides to attack the 4 villages. The village survived, barely, but the only people close to him and managed to remain alive were Kakashi and Sakura. That is, until they died at the hands of Sasuke, who had decided to seek a new goal after killing the weakened Itachi after the Akatsuki attacked Konoha. Under his command, Oto had already taken over Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa. Leaving the conquest of Suna to his underlings, he personally led the campaign against Konoha. Enraged at the death of his 2 surviving friends, Naruto killed Sasuke and his entire army with the power of the Kyuubi. Years of constant warfare took a heavy toll on every shinobi nation, devastating the countryside and flattening villages. The daimyos eventually decided to banish any surviving shinobi, and imprison the only surviving Kage, Uzumaki Naruto, the Rokudime Hokage. Naruto had already spent 6 months in this small cell with nothing beside a few made-up charges. However, the daimyos decided that they will use Naruto as an example to warn any surviving shinobi by charging him with treason and sentencing him to death. During the hearings, Naruto never uttered a word to defend himself or admit to the offense, having long known that it wouldn't make a difference. Instead, he spends most of his time staring at the sky or communicating with the Kyuubi. The execution will take place at noon today and the guards outside are running about, preparing to carry out the order of their superiors. Kit, Kyuubi says from the seal. What do you want now, Kyuubi? It's almost time. I know that. I assume you know what you do. Yes. You only told me 238 times. I'm only being repetitive because the timing has to be perfect or it won't work. If it doesn't work then you get to have your fun terrorizing the world. I don't see any problem. I'm not doing this for my own good, you ungrateful Kit. Don't worry, Kyuubi, I'll be fine. There is something about the technique that I haven't mentioned to you. Well, then go ahead. It's not time for that yet. You'll find out in due time. Besides, we have visitors, Kit. What do you guys want? Naruto asks without turning around to face the guards. Be grateful that we're even bringing you your last meal, punk. I'm sure that adding a few counts of murder doesn't change much, Kyuubi interjects from the seal. Cut it out, Kyuubi. Why? If it doesn't make a difference to the fools handing down the sentence and it makes us feel better, why can't we do it? You're forgetting something in between. These fools' families. I'll be damned if I give them any reason to hate me when I die. Che, you're no fun. Like they don't feel that way about you already. If they don't hate you, you won't be sitting here. I thought you had enough fun when you wreak havoc on the Oto army a few months ago. I did, but more fun never hurts. If you ain't going to eat then I'm going to take the plates with me, the guard yells after getting no response. Go ahead, I won't be needing it in a few hours. Beside, it's against my policy to take poison right before being executed. Why, you punk? Naruto releases a spike of chakra to push the guard out of his cell and closes the door behind him. Closing his eyes, Naruto goes through all the procedure in his head once again so Kyuubi will stop bothering him about it. Eventually, a larger group of guards enters the cell to escort him to the execution ground. As Naruto stands up, all the guards back up a couple of steps as the Rokudime easily towers over them by at least 6 inches. Scaring them even more are the blood-red eyes that stares back at them when Naruto turns around, the last reminder of what Naruto contains in his body. Gulping, the leader of the guards put the cuffs on Naruto's wrists and leads him out of the cell. On their way, not a single person came to see the last Hokage off on his final journey, being forbidden by the daimyos to so much as to weep for him. Your time has finally come, the official witnessing the execution says. The entire execution ground is empty beside Naruto, the official, the executioner, and a few guards. Kyuubi scoffs at the amount of defense at the ground. If Naruto has any desire to flee, he can do it easily with this pathetic amount of people watching him. If not for the fact that Naruto needs to die for the plan to work, he is certain that Naruto would have been miles away by now. Any last words, you monster? On second thought, I don't even want to hear it. Executioner, do you job? Nodding his head, the executioner approaches Naruto. No one notices that a small bit of red chakra is coming out of Naruto's hand or that he is going through a long series of hand seal. Raising his blade, the executioner swings his arms down just as Naruto completes the sequence. A large burst of chakra erupts the moment the blade goes through Naruto's neck and the executioner is killed immediately. The official and the guards barely have enough time to register what is happening before they are also engulfed by the chakra. If anyone looks toward the sky, they would be able to see a large column of red chakra shooting up to before slowly dissipating. When Naruto opens his eyes again, he finds himself being held by someone as they travel at a high speed. Trying to struggle out of the person's arms, Naruto finds that he doesn't have nearly enough strength to get away. When the pair finally stops, Naruto sees the Kyuubi standing in front of him and the person holding him standing on top of Gamabunta. Finally realizing where he is, Naruto tries to reach out and grab the person's arm before he can complete the last seal but is powerless to do so and he finds himself in the presence of the Shinigami. Instead of doing what the person intends for it to do, the Shinigami reaches past the person and Naruto directly at the Kyuubi. What's going on? Namikaze. Normally I should take your soul away for bringing me to this realm. You should be glad that your child and his companion have given me a sacrifice to save your life, the Shinigami says. Now Kyuubi, be gone. Go back to your resting place. The time for your awakening will come, but for now, recuperate and be prepared to fulfill your purpose. Very well Shinigami-sama. What is happening? Yondaime asks again. You will find your answer in due time as well, the Shinigami says before disappearing with the Kyuubi. As soon as the Kyuubi disappears, a silver-haired ninja appears next to Yondaime. He casts a confused glance at how the baby is staring at him in a disturbing way, but ignores it and turns toward the Hokage. Sensei, is the Kyuubi gone? I thought that your technique would, not that I'm unhappy with you being alive. I understand Kakashi. Even though I'm not entirely sure myself, the Kyuubi is indeed gone. I will deliver the news to Sandaime-sama and the rest of the village. Go ahead, the Yondaime says before turning toward the child in his arm. Naruto, you are a very special child, aren't you? If he doesn't know any better, Yondaime Hokage can almost swear that he can see a hint of pride in his son's eyes and a smirk on his face. Sighing, Namikaze Minato heads back toward the village with what is left of the ninja squads that were sent out to contain the Kyuubi. As soon as he steps into his office, he is bombarded with questions from everyone present, which includes his predecessor, the council elders and the various clan heads. As the sealing unsuccessful, Sandaime asks, No, I never managed to get to the sealing procedure. The Shinigami simply says something about my child offering sacrifices and orders the Kyuubi to leave. But how? One of the councilmen asks. The Shinigami only tells me that I will find my answer in due time. It's been a long few days. I think it's time for us to return to our homes and rest, Sandaime says before anyone else can raise any questions. Yes, I think it would be best. A 4-year-old Naruto runs away from the scene of his latest prank, after having put an illusion in the Yamanaka flower shop, turning it into a store full of man-eating plants and scaring every customer, as well as the family that runs the shop, out of their mind and out of the store. Right now, an irate Inoichi is running after him from rooftop to rooftop. Back at the store, his wife is still trying to calm their crying daughter who refuses to return to the store. Eventually, Naruto crashes into his father's office with Inoichi following him inside a few moments later, his anger completely blocking all thoughts of identifying where he is. All right, Naruto, what did you do this time? Minato asks, looking up from his paperwork. Hokage-sama. It's okay, Inoichi. I'm sure my son has caused a lot trouble, Minato says before turning back toward his son. Would you ever stop giving me trouble? I'm still trying to keep the Naras from trying to kill you for painting the nose of every deer they own to red and dangling ornaments in their antlers. As soon as you take me to the Shrine of Fire like you promised. The Shrine of Fire? Inoichi asks, his anger completely forgotten in the presence of the village's leader. Yes. He has been clamoring about it ever since he knows how to talk. I'm still trying to figure out how he found out about such an out-of-the-way shrine. Excuse me, but perchance it has something to do with it. There is a chance that may be it, but Naruto simply refuses to tell me the reason. I want to go. I want to go. Naruto screams like the child he is. Fine, fine. As soon as I take care of what you did to Inoichi, I will find Sarutobi-sama to watch the village for a few days. Now, what did you do? Ino-chan says that I'm weak. I showed her. I'm not the one crying my eyes out and refusing to go back home. Inoichi, what did he do? Minato asks, sighing. He put a genjutsu over my shop, turning it into a man-eating plant paradise. Normally I would be impressed that someone as young as Naruto can handle such a genjutsu, but to use it on my shop while Ino's still inside. I understand, Inoichi. I'll take Naruto over to your place and apologize to your family. After that, I will punish him accordingly. The punishment ends up being having Naruto study in the library under Chunin's supervision. Ino complained about the punishment after finally calming down, but to Naruto, not being allowed to run around or talk loudly would be crueler than anything Minato can think of. After serving out his sentence, Minato asks the Sandaime to step in for a week and takes his son to the Shrine of Fire in the forest north of the village. Why is this place so run down? Naruto asks when he arrives. This shrine hasn't been in use since Nadaime's time, Naruto. Great. Now I have to look all over to find the stupid fox. Why didn't he tell me this is what the place looks like? I didn't know this place turned out this way either, stupid brat. A voice booms. It was still perfectly fine when I left. Who said that? Minato says, looking every which way. All right. Where are you, you stupid fox? If you clear a path amongst the rubble to the middle of the shrine, you'll see a stairway down. Naruto, who are you talking to? Dad, come on. You heard him. Let's go. But, Minato's sweat drops as he looks at his son crossing his arms, pouting, and tapping his foot impatiently. Sighing, Minato gestures for his son to step back before creating several Kage Bunshin to move away the rubble. He could have used his Rasengan to clear the land, but he has a sneaking suspicion that he'll want to preserve the shrine as much as possible. When everything is out of the way, Naruto pulls his father toward the stairwell that is hidden where the altar should have been. Once underground, the pair follows the straightforward path until it reaches a door. Before his father can even stop him, Naruto opens the door. So you finally decide to show up. Being trapped here was worse than being trapped in your stomach, and you know how much I hate being trapped in your stomach. The booming voice comes out from a vase in the middle of the room. How did you end up trapped in a vase? No thanks to the stupid Shinigami. He said I have to stay hidden here in case someone frees me before my time comes. If I had known this would happen, I would have kept attacking the village for the heck of it. The darn raccoon was trapped in something roomier than this. Fine, fine. Shut up already, you stupid fox. How do I get you out? Only you can remove the seal on the mouth of the vase. Take it off and I'll be out. Wait a minute. Why should my son release the demon that attacked the village just a couple of years ago? Because if you want your son to get stronger, you'll need me. What is all this nonsense now? Dad, it's a long story. I'll tell you all about it after I let the stupid fox out so he'll stop his complaining. Ignoring his father's complaints, Naruto removes the seal on the vase and a large cloud of smoke soon engulfs the room. When the smoke clears, a miniature Kyuubi is stretching where the vase had been. Finally, I'm out again. Why do you look so small? Stupid brat. I can't have this place caving in while the three of us are still in here now, can I? Naruto. Oh, right, the explanation. Sit tight, Dad. I can't have you fainting on me. I'll try, Minato says, looking between his son and the small nine-tailed fox. It takes about half an hour for Naruto to give a brief summary of what happened in his previous life and how he ended up here and saving his father's life. It takes quite a bit of effort, but Minato manages to stay conscious from all the information. Seeing that his father needs some time to digest all the information, Naruto turns toward the miniature fox to his side as it takes out a small scroll hidden in one of the loose walls. What are you doing? This is the summoning scroll for the fox. Sign it while I bring someone out to keep an eye on you until you're ready to train with me. What do you mean keep an eye on me? Naruto asks as he signs the contract. We can't exactly have a nine-tailed fox walking around the village while I'm waiting for you to grow physically. I'm sending one of my guards to protect you and prepare you until you're ready for my training. Oh, Kyuubi-sama, did you call for me? A fox asks, coming through a portal created by the Kyuubi. Yes, I've picked this kid, so keep an eye on him until he's ready. Very well, Kyuubi-sama. Wait a minute, my village is still very weary of anything that has to do with foxes, Minato says, finally joining the conversation. Even if she's a silver fox. Fine, Kyuubi says as he turns toward the other fox, this will hurt a bit. Naruto and Minato stare dumbfounded as Kyuubi attacks the silver fox, leaving behind several deep wounds. Gesturing toward the injured fox with his head, Kyuubi asks the two to take the fox back for treatment and make up some excuse of finding her in the wild. Deeming it as a passable excuse to alleviate fears of people perceiving it as a demon, Minato picks up the injured fox and heads out of the shrine. So where are you going to go now? I will return to the demon realm with the scroll for a small bit just in case anyone tries to cause any troubles for me. I have no idea if the Akatsuki has taken form yet, but keep an eye on some of their members and targets. Got it. Naruto, come on. This silver fox may be a demon, but those are some pretty nasty wounds, Minato screams from the entrance. Okay, I'm coming. I will see you in a few years, Kit, Kyuubi says before disappearing in a swirl of red chakra. The village gets into a small uproar when the people see their leader bringing back an injured fox. They only stop their tirades when Minato explains that he found the fox as it was being attacked by a boar and that no demon would allow itself to be wounded this badly without fighting back. It took about a week, but the Inuzukas managed to nurse the fox back to its feet and Naruto takes it home that very day. When they get home that day, Naruto finds his father looking over a scroll with an annoyed look on his face. What's wrong, Dad? It's just some diplomatic message I got from a foreign village. It's nothing you have to worry about. Hey, come on. I was a Hokage too. Tell me what it says. It's a message from Kumo. It says that the Raikage wants to send over an ambassador to negotiate and sign a peace treaty. Now that you mention it, I remember something that Neji told me during my first Chunin exam. Neji. As in Hyuga Neji. Yeah, that's him. He told me that the Kumo ambassador was there to kidnap Hinata-chan. What? I'm going to refuse this request. Wait, I have an idea. Oh, you remember how I told you about an organization named Akatsuki, right? Yes. What does that have to do with this? Just let him come in. We'll catch him in the act, alive, then I'll tell you the rest of my plan. Oh, and we'll need to invite the Kazekage too, just as a witness. Just make up an excuse that since Suna is our ally, so they'll have to be part of the negotiations as well. I really need to be careful around you. Who know how many more devious plots you have in that brain of yours? Hey, I do have over 30 years of pranking experience, or did you forget about that? It still hasn't completely sunk in. It's too far-fetched to believe, but all the evidences make it hard not to believe it. I felt the same way when the stupid fox first told me about it. Ow. What did you bite me for? How dare you disrespect Kyuubi-sama? I've always called him that. I've been calling him that for over 20 years. If he doesn't care about that, then why should you? Kyuubi-sama is the master of the demon foxes. I will not allow you to disrespect him. Bah, whatever. Dang, this hurts. Even if I kept some of Kyuubi's regenerative powers, it's still not healing as fast. Move your hand away. Looking at the fox in confusion, Naruto simply ignores the fox and continues to nurse his wound. Annoyed, The fox moves Naruto's hand away with its snout and starts licking the wound. Naruto winces initially from the pain until he notices that the wound is closing up much more rapidly than before. The silver fox backs away when the wound has completely closed up. My saliva has the same healing power as Kyuubi-sama's chakra. So do all silver foxes. No. Just me. Oh. Okay. I'm finally done with my response message. You mean to tell me that you didn't even pay attention to me when I was attacked? I'm sure you can take care of yourself. Alright. I'll just have Kakashi and Rin send this message back. Wait a minute, Rin. As in your student? Yes, what of it? Now that I think about it, you still haven't met either of them yet, have you? At least in this lifetime, Minato says, that time right after the Shinigami sent Kyuubi away didn't count. That doesn't matter right now. I don't think you should send her. Why not? Kakashi and her have been working together ever since Obito died. Kakashi-sensei never told me how either of his teammates died, but he was very aggressive when he was fighting against the Kumo nins when they attacked. Even more so than the Iwa nins. But Obito died in Iwa, he absolutely hate their guts. That's why I think that Rin-ne-chan might have died in Kumo. But then why would the old man let the Kumo nin enter Konoha if they killed Rin on this mission? Maybe Rin-ne-chan found out something and confronted the head ninja after he got to Konoha. That could be the case. I suppose I can send someone else, but who should I send? He doesn't work well with anyone else. How about Guy-sensei? I'm sure his power of youth will make Kakashi-sensei come to his senses. Did Kakashi torment you in your previous life? Why do you want to punish him like that? Spending that much time with Maida Guy will drive anyone crazy. Tenten-chan came out just fine if you ignore the weapon fetish, though Neji and Lee were a bit off when I first met them. I don't think I want to ask who this Lee is. Alright, I'll send Guy with Kakashi this time. I'll have Rin work on training you so they don't suspect anything. After all, Rin is the best at teaching the basics, and from what you told me, that's your worst area. It's not my fault that I haven't had a decent sensei that would teach me the basic from the academy through the time I became Hokage. Yes, but you don't have to worry about that this time around. Alright, time for bed, young man. I'll have Rin teach you starting tomorrow. What? But it's not even that late. No matter how old you are mentally, you're still a kid physically. Off to bed you go. But I could have helped you with the paperwork. Maybe you should have taken that into consideration before spending the day showing off your new friend to everyone. Ah, but the girls just won't stop petting her even if I told them I have to get home. Then that's not my problem. Off to bed. The next day, 5 young ninjas are summoned to the Hokage's office. When they arrive, they are surprised to find the Hokage's young son also sitting in the room. Hokage-sama, why have you called us here so urgently? Is there a youthful task that wish for us to accomplish? Yes. In fact, I have 2 missions that I need taken care of. Hokage-sensei, what is it? Why do you insist on calling me that, Rin? Anyway, Kakashi, Guy, you 2 are to deliver this message scroll to Kumogakure and escort their ambassador to Konoha. Asuma, Kurenai, you 2 are to deliver this scroll to Sunagakure and return with their response. Rin, your job is to start training Naruto in the basics of being a ninja. But Hokage-sensei, nice to meet you, Rin-ne-chan. One look at Naruto's eyes and Minato knows that he has won the battle. Sighing, Kakashi places his hand on Rin's shoulder, nodding before leaving with Guy, who has already taken the scroll and is halfway down the staircase screaming about the powers of youth. Shaking their heads, Asuma and Kurenai pick up the other scroll before leaving the last 3 occupants in the room. Hokage-sensei, what about our other guest that I'm taking care of? Oh, I'm sure you can introduce her to Naruto. Hi Hokage-sensei. Really now? Rin, stop calling me that. But Namikaze-sensei sounds too informal and Hokage-sama sounds too formal. Rin whines. Besides, I like calling you Hokage-sensei. Fine. Just get on with your mission. I still have a lot of work to do. Oh, make sure you bring Naruto home by 6. I have to take him over to the Hyuga compound. Hiyashi invited me over for dinner at the compound tonight. Okay. Come on, Naruto-kun. Coming. Come on, Ginkgo-chan. Rin is slightly unnerved by the sight of such a large fox accompanying Naruto. She doesn't feel the same way about foxes as some of the villagers do, but from what she knows, that has been a wild fox up until a week ago, and it might suddenly attack the boy. However, she figures that if the Hokage allows it to be around Naruto all the time, maybe the Inuzuka worked wonders and tamed it within the week. Shrugging off the thought, Rin makes a quick stop back at her house to pick up her other guest before setting off toward the nearest training ground. On the way, Naruto can't take his eyes off the new addition. Man, I can't believe this. I knew Kakashi-sensei saved Koyuki Haim, but I never thought that he brought her back to Konoha. I thought Sandayu took her with him as soon as Kakashi-sensei got out of Yuki no Kuni. Naruto thinks, she's still as cold to everyone as when I first met her though. Is something the matter? Ginkgo whispers so that only Naruto can hear her. Hey, when we get to the training ground, can you help me cheer up Koyuki Haim? You seemed to work wonders yesterday. Fine, whatever. I'll try. Man, you're almost as cold as Koyuki Haim, Ginkgo-chan. Well, don't expect me to turn good and kiss you on the cheek after you got knocked out. Okay, we're here. Naruto looks up at Rin's words and immediately represses the urge to groan. Everything from the 3 tree stumps to the memorial stone near the edge of the training ground. Team 7's training ground doesn't look any different than the one Kakashi took Team 7 to after they first became a team. Is something wrong, Naruto? No, it's just that I don't particularly like seeing that stone. Makes me sad looking at all the names. Naruto-kun, those are the names of the heroes of the village. You should show them respect, not try to look away from it. Is that the only way for ninjas to be respected or be seen as a hero by the villagers? To die and have their name on that stone? That's not true, Naruto-kun. You and your father are seen as heroes for chasing away the Kyuubi. But so many other people died because of the attack just for us to be seen that way. I don't want it to happen that way. Naruto-kun, you're a really kind child, Rin says, giving Naruto a quick hug. Well, then you'll just have to get really strong so you can protect them from dying. I swear that I will take over for my old man when the time comes and become the best Hokage Konoha has ever seen. That's the spirit, Naruto-kun. To be able to do that though, you'll have to get through my trainings first. Hi Rin-ne-chan. Okay Naruto-kun. I'm sure that Hokage-sensei already told you about the basics of chakra. I'm going to teach you how to control it properly. Oh, I just remembered something. Can you give me a moment, Rin-ne-chan? Sure. Go ahead, Rin says as Naruto and Ginkgo walks over to Koyuki. Hey, can you keep an eye on Ginkgo-chan for me? Koyuki takes one look at Naruto and Ginkgo before nodding her head reluctantly. Rin has been getting on her for her to become more social ever since Kakashi brought her back to Konoha. She feels that it won't do to upset the ones taking care of her, and it's just an animal, so it's not like she will have anyone bothering her. Smiling, Naruto gives Ginkgo a wink before scrambling back Rin, who is watching the exchange with an amused look on her face. The pair spends the rest of the day going over the proper way of molding chakra, weapon throwing, and even a few crash courses on battle strategies. Every now and then, the pair would look over toward Koyuki and find her either stroking Ginkgo's fur or whispering into Ginkgo's ears. By the time they head home that evening, Koyuki keeps glancing over at the silver fox, not wanting to part with it. Seeing her reaction, Rin suggests for Koyuki to stay over at Naruto's house, which she eagerly agrees to. By the time Kakashi and Guy escorted the Kumo Nin back to Konoha, both Kakashi and the Kumo Nin can't wait to be rid of Guy and his youthful speeches. Kakashi decides to send Guy on his way and report to the Hokage with the Kumo Nin by himself before Guy annoys the representative any further and destroys the potential for a successful negotiation. Kakashi noticed that the Kumo Nin seemed surprised when Kakashi told him that Suna would also be sending a representative to Konoha, and Kakashi has been keeping a close eye on him ever since. The more Kakashi observes him, the more curious Kakashi becomes. The Kumo Nin kept asking Guy about all the major clans of Konoha on the trip after failing on his first attempt with Kakashi, disguising it poorly as mere curiosity about the strength of Konoha before negotiation. Of course, Kakashi talked to Guy about that after the Kumo Nin failed with Kakashi, so Guy had been holding back a large amount of information, even if none of them are of any significance to the defense of the village. Leading the Kumo Nin to the Hokage's office, Kakashi knocks on the door and enters when he is told to do so. Ah, Kakashi, you're back. Asuma, Kurenai, you two are back already. I would have thought that you two would spend some time on your own before coming back. Unlike you, we don't like slacking off. Where's Guy? I sent him back home. It's been a long trip. Minato, Asuma, and Kurenai sigh at Kakashi's statement, knowing exactly what he means. Looking past Kakashi, Minato smiles at the Kumo nin standing on the side. Calling for his assistant, Minato asks the man to escort the Kumo nin to the hotel and says that they will begin the negotiation the next day. Kakashi. Minato says after the Kumo nin left. He was asking about the village's ninjas on the entire trip. I see. Maybe my suspicion is not entirely unfounded after all. Very well, the three of you go and get some rest. You've all had a long trip. Hi, Hokage-sama. Hokage-sama, is Rin still? Kakashi asks. Oh, she should be training Naruto at Training Ground 7 right now. Then what about? Koyuki is also there. She seems to have really hit it off with Naruto. Well, with Ginkgo at least. Oh, of all the things, the silver fox was what it took to get that princess out of her shell. Asuma asks. She's been keeping everything inside. I guess she thinks that Ginkgo is someone who would listen to her without letting anyone know what she's feeling. After all, it's best for her to get everything off her chest. I suppose that is true. That poor girl, Kurenai says. But that would mean that she's still not ready to socialize with others yet, Asuma says. She has opened up to Rin and Naruto somewhat, at least they are getting more than one-word responses. I'll go check on them then, Kakashi says. I guess I'll go visit Koyuki-chan too. Asuma, are you coming? Not like I have anything else to do. I guess I'll check on Naruto's progress and take him to lunch too. Hokage-sama, what? Is it such a crime that I want to get away from all the paperwork for a while? No sir. Kurenai blurts out quickly. The four ninjas arrive to the training ground and find Koyuki off to the side playing with Ginkgo and Rin staring at Naruto dumbfounded. Rin, what's wrong? Hokage-sensei. When did you teach Naruto-kun your prized technique? You won't even teach me that. It's not fair. What? The Rasengan. Naruto-kun already knows the first two stages, as well as he can perform it given his lack of chakra. Oh, Minato says, looking equally as shocked as everyone else before catching himself, so he has gotten that far along has he? Hokage-sensei, I want to learn that technique too. Rin whines. Really now Rin, you're not a little kid anymore. I want to learn it. Fine, Naruto, why don't you show Rin how to perform the first two stages of the Rasengan? Okay. I can't believe he can learn that technique at such a young age. It took me forever to even grasp the basics of the technique. He is my son after all, Kakashi. I know he'll make a great ninja. Hokage-sama, you are quite difficult to find these days, a voice says behind the group. Oh, Kazekage-sama, is something the matter? There is a small issue that I wish to discuss with you. Your assistant told me that I would be able to find you here. May we talk in private? Of course. Temari, Kenkiro, Gaara, the three of you may get some light training in. Don't cause any trouble. Yes, father, Temari says. Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, keep an eye on the children. Hi Hokage-sama. Naruto turns around as his father walks away with the Kazekage. Rin starts bugging Naruto again to teach her the Rasengan, but Naruto instead walks toward the Suna siblings. Hey, my name's Namikaze Naruto, Naruto says, extending his hand toward Gaara. I'm Sabaku Temari. These are my brothers Kenkiro and Gaara. Temari answers instead as Gaara stares at Naruto's outstretched hand in confusion. Please excuse Gaara, he's somewhat shy. It's okay. You are Hokage-sama's son, right? Temari asks. Yep. Hey, do the three of you want to be my friend? Friend. Gaara whispers. Yeah, I suppose, Temari says, looking nervously at her brother, right Gaara? Yes, Gaara says before whispering, it's not like it will last long either way. Don't be so negative Gaara, Naruto says, patting Gaara on the shoulder. Why didn't the sand? Kenkiro. Be quiet, Temari hisses. I see the four of you have really hit it off, the Kazekage says. Hokage-sama. Father, you have returned, Temari says. Yes. Actually, it's good that you have become friends. The three of you will be staying at Konoha. Hokage-sama knows someone who would be able to treat Gaara's condition. But what about you, father? I don't think you would be able to stay here for that long. I'm going to be heading back to the village, of course. You're going to leave the three of us here by ourselves. I expect the three of you to behave while you're here. I will be staying in Konoha until the treaty is agreed to, and I'll come back when it's ready to be signed. After that, I will be heading back to Suna. But what about the Ninja Academy? The three of you will be studying in the Konoha Ninja Academy until Gaara's condition is fully treated. Very well, father. Tamari-chan, cheer up. Now we can all hang out together. Tamari shows Naruto a forced smile before turning toward her two siblings and lecturing them, though mostly directed toward Kenkuro, on the proper behavior as they stay in a foreign village. Naruto shows a quick smile toward his father before Rin pulls him toward the middle of the training ground again and bothers the boy until he shows her how to perform the Rasengan. Well, Rin-ne-chan, it's not like I don't want to teach you, but I can't just teach you the technique for free, you know. Fine, what do you want? A trip to the ramen stand. Actually, if you can talk Kakashi-sensei into teaching me the Reikiri. No way, Kakashi says, bonking Naruto on the head. But Kakashi-ni, let me do the talking, Naruto-kun. Oh Kakashi-kun. What is it, Rin? If you don't want to see your little books disappear in a Kaden-jutsu accident, you'll teach Naruto-kun the Reikiri. Wait a minute now, Rin. That's not really playing fair. I want to learn the Rasengan. I don't care what I have to do to learn it. I can teach you that myself. Right, by showing me once and telling me to figure it out myself. Well, I suppose I can show it to Naruto. Slowly. I want to see the hand seals. Fine, but let's find some place more private. The great Hitaki Kakashi, beaten by a kid, Asuma says, chuckling. I assure you that Naruto-kun is very persuasive. I have an empty wallet to prove it, Rin says. Speaking of which, Hokage-sensei, I want to be paid back for all the trips to the ramen stands Naruto-kun took when we trained. Fine, fine. Just send me the bill and I'll submit it to the mission room. I swear this kid is going to empty Konoha's coffers through his stomach. It may be more economical to hire Kyuubi to be my family cook than to have Naruto visit his stand every day. You know, now that I think about it, that might not be such a bad idea. I'm going to talk to him after this. Do you mean it, old man? Naruto, how did you get back so quickly? All I need is to see the hand seals. I can figure out the rest by myself. And if I really need help, I'm sure Rin-ne-chan would be more than willing to teach me. Sure, as long as you hold to your part of the deal. Of course, I never break my promises. The negotiations progressed quickly, and the Kumo-nin returned to his village to report the final agreement. The Kumo-nin promised that his village will send an actual ambassador to officially sign the agreement once Kumo cleared the treaty. A month later, Konoha receives a message that Kumo is sending a second delegation to officially sign the treaty, and Konoha sends a copy of that message to Suna to invite the Kazekage, who had returned to his village after the Kumo-nin left Konoha. All right, Naruto, do you really think Kumo will try to kidnap Hinata? Minato asks while working on the mountains of paperwork in his office. Yep, right on the day of Hinata-chan's birthday. So how should we deal with this? I was kinda hoping you could give me one of your three-prong kunais and help Ginko-chan and I get inside the Hyuga compound for Hinata-chan's birthday, Naruto says, patting Ginko on the head. Ginko-chan and I can get the Kumo-nin, then you can use your Hiraishin to pick him up. Naruto, cut it out, I'm not your pet. Ah, you let the girls do it. Yes, but they don't try to break my neck with every strike. Fine. Back on topic. It might be difficult to get you in there. The Hyugas are rather reserved about those kinds of things. I don't care. You help me get in there. I want to stay there for the night. That's when the Kumo-nin will strike. Fine. I'll have a word with Hiashi. I already told the guards at the compound to tell Hiashi Jii-san that you are looking for him. He should be here any moment now. Couldn't you have at least give me a little bit of time to plan how I should explain this to him? You're just going to delay it and nothing gets done in the end. How did you ever manage to become the Hokage with that attitude? Tsunade Ba-chan wanted me to fulfill her brother and her boyfriend's dream for them. Hokage-sama, Hiashi-sama is here to speak with you, his assistant says through the door. Send him in please. Hokage-sama, I was told that you are looking for me. Hiashi says, taking a seat at the table while completely ignoring Naruto's presence in the room. Yes, Well, you see, my son knows that your daughter's birthday is coming up, so, he wants to, come over to your house to celebrate with her that day. I see. If I may be so bold, what is the real reason? As the Hokage, you almost never speak in the manner you did unless you are very nervous. He just wants me out of the way because I caused so much trouble to the last Kumo nin they sent here, Naruto says, kneeling next to Ginkgo. Yes, it was rather embarrassing really, Minato says, catching on to his son's plan. It's an excuse if the delegates they send over wants to see Naruto. That and the fact that Hinata is a good friend of Naruto. Very well. I will alert my clan that there will be a guest that day. I was hoping that, since I don't know how long the ceremonies will last, perhaps Naruto can stay there for the night. I can really do without his pranks while entertaining the delegates from Kumo and Suna. Yes, Naruto's pranks are somewhat legendary in Konoha these days. I understand. I will have my servants prepare a guest room for him. Arigato, Hiyashi Jii-san. Oh, can I bring Ginkgo-chan with me? I don't see why not. It would appear that my daughter is rather fond of that fox herself. You take that long to decide if you want me there and you barely thought about Ginkgo-chan. Ginkgo doesn't cause nearly as much trouble as you do Naruto. That's not fair, Hiyashi Jii-san. Regardless, if that is all Hokage-sama. Yes, that will be all. I will send Naruto over first thing that morning. Very well, I shall take my leave now. A week later, before he heads to the gate to welcome the Kumo delegate along with most of Konoha's citizens, Minato drops Naruto off at the Hyuga compound and hands him a three-prong kunai and a signal flare. Naruto, be careful, all right. Don't worry, I have Ginkgo-chan with me. We should be more concerned about keeping the Kumo nin away from the Hyugas. We need him alive. Do what you need to. You have my permission to use that level 2 Rasengan you've been working on. That should be strong enough to knock him out and weak enough to keep him alive. Okay. I've been waiting for you to tell me that. The day progresses as normal, with everyone oblivious to what will happen. Later that night, Naruto manages to convince Hiyashi to allow him to stay in Hinata's room with promises of a prank for the ages if he refuses. What Naruto doesn't know is that even if he didn't threaten Hiyashi would have agreed anyway because he still feels that Minato and Naruto are still planning something and it involves his daughter. Hiyashi decides that he will stay awake to see what Naruto is planning. What he comes across is the Kumo nin that is sent to sign the treaty attempting to kidnap Hinata, and before he can even move in, Naruto already knocked the Kumo nin out with the help of the Silver Fox. Staying on the sideline, he watches as Naruto plants the three-prong kunai in the ground and launches the signal flare. Within moments, Minato appears on the scene with the Kazekage along with several members of the Hyuga clan who are close to the scene. So, your info is correct after all, Hokage-sama. Kumo really is trying to kidnap Hyuga Hinata. Yes. I hope that it isn't so, Kazekage-sama. After all, out 3 villages just signed the treaty. What do you intend to do now, Hokage-sama? I would prefer if you execute him for his crimes, Hiyashi says, walking out from his hiding spot. No. We need to make him admit his crimes first. I will have Morino and Mitarashi talk to him. Then I will send the confession to Kumo. Once you have obtained a confession, I shall vouch for its validity. Thank you, Kazekage-sama. Ordering several of his Anbu to take the prisoner to the interrogation department, Minato takes Naruto and Ginkgo home, making up an excuse that the Hyugas need time to sort everything out. However, instead of taking Naruto home, they head back to the Hokage office. All right, we got the kidnapper. Now can you tell me what you are planning? It's only right that we demand reparation from Kumo, right? I suppose that would be a fair request. Yes. I want you to demand someone by the name of Ni Yugito. Ni Yugito. Why? Yugito-chan is the Nibi Jinchuriki. I highly doubt they will hand over something so valuable. With the threat of Konoha and Suna retaliating, I think they'll give it careful consideration. Iwa is still too weak from the last war, and Kiri has too much internal troubles to care about the other villages. Oh, so he does have a brain after all. Ginkgo-chan, that wasn't very nice, Naruto says. Then mind telling me why did a 4-year-old decides charge a foreign Junin that can kill him with a flick of the finger? Hey, we got him in the end, didn't we? I got him. You're just lucky to still be alive. But my Rasengan knocked him out. Which you are only able to hit him with because I have his entire attention. Okay. Quit arguing. I'll write the message. You two get some rest. It's been a long day, Minato says. True to Naruto's word, as soon as the confession and the Hokage's message arrives in Kumo, the Raikage agreed to the stipulations, albeit begrudgingly. The Raikage attempted to send another girl and have her pose as Yugito, but the four ninjas the Hokage sent, Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, Guy, to deliver the message and guard the prisoner back to Konoha easily spotted the fake with some of the civilians of Kumo. In fact, having the squad go to the civilians first is part of Naruto's plan, to expose that the Raikage almost dragged Kumo into another war and turn the people against the Raikage and support Konoha's minor demand in exchange for peace. Yugito-chan, we should be arriving to Konoha in another hour, Kurenai says. Arigato, Yuahi-san. I understand that you miss your ville. I do not miss it. But, I hate that village. I'm glad that I'm no longer living in Kumo. Don't worry. It'll all be better once you get to Konoha. I am here as a prisoner. The people of Konoha would only continue to look down on me. Ahaya, Kurenai ne-chan. A boy screams as he jumps into the carriage. You must be Yugito-chan, right? Yes, Yugito says, completely shocked by Naruto's entrance. Naruto-kun, what are you doing all the way out here? Well, since a very important guest is coming to the village, it's only right that the Hokage sends someone to welcome the guest. And I assume that means that you nagged Hokage-sama into letting you come all the way out here by yourself. Ginkgo-chan is with me too, Naruto answers as the silver fox also jumps into the carriage. Yugito stares at the fox for a few moments before spacing out completely. Kurenai looks on in confusion, trying to stay on the sideline as the scenes unfold by themselves. The other three ninjas are all leaning in, trying to pick up bits and pieces of the conversation as they escort the caravan back to Konoha. A few moments later, Yugito gingerly reaches out toward the fox with trembling hands. Instead of waiting for Yugito's hand to reach her, Ginkgo simply walks up next to Yugito. It almost looks like she's trying to pick up Ginkgo's scent. What is going on? Kurenai thinks to herself. Gently petting Ginkgo, Yugito turns her attention to Naruto and stares at the boy. Not finding what she's looking for, Yugito leans in to take a closer look. Kyuubi isn't sealed in me, Naruto says, shocking everyone within hearing range. Then how? It's a long story. I'll tell you when we get to Konoha, okay, Yugito-chan. Naruto says, smiling. Oh, Kurenai ne-chan, Dad says that Yugito-chan can live with me. But I thought Hokage-sama is already entertaining Kazekage-sama's children. Don't worry, Kurenai ne-chan, the Namikaze mansion have plenty of space, Naruto says before muttering to himself, mainly because we don't have any servants and have to do everything by ourselves. Training for shinobi life, he's just a cheapskate. You're just upset that Hokage-sama still haven't hired Tsuki-san to be the family cook, Naruto. He said he would ask Tsuki-Gigi. It's not fair, Kurenai ne-chan. I can understand Hokage-sama's hesitancy. After all, it's not very healthy to just eat ramen every meal. This is Hokage-sama's son. He looks like an idiot, but this fox, Yugito thinks to herself as she watches the others. He said Kyuubi isn't sealed in him. Could it be that Neko made a mistake? What does this all mean? Naruto, stop moving around. We're almost there, Kakashi says from the outside. Okay, Naruto says before turning his attention on Yugito. What's wrong, Yugito-chan? You're being awfully quiet. It's nothing. I just don't want to talk, that's all. When the team arrives at the Hokage Tower to report, Naruto pulls Yugito out of the room saying that he wants to introduce her to Gaara. Running through the street, Yugito notices that the villagers are all staring oddly at them. However, they are not staring at her with any kind of malice. Instead, they are smiling at them in such a way that makes it difficult for her to stand next to Naruto without blushing. The pair eventually stops in front of a mansion with three children playing in the yard outside. Hey, I'm home. I brought along a new friend. Hey Naruto. So that's where you've been the whole morning, huh? That's right, Tamari-chan. My dad told me to receive our guest from Kumo, Naruto says. Oh, that's right. Guys, this is Yugito-chan. Yugito-chan, these three are Tamari, Kenkuro, and Gaara. They are Kazekage-sama's children. I see, Yugito says. Regardless, can you answer my question now? Yugito-chan, Gaara, please come with me. When Kankuro wants to go along with them, he's chased back by a wall of sand. Chuckling nervously, Naruto leads the pair to his room. On his way, Naruto hears Temari screaming something about burning dolls and turns toward Gaara for answers only to receive a look that says, "Don't ask." "All right, take a seat while I check something out." After making sure that no one is spying on them, Naruto turns back toward the group and nods toward Ginkgo, who is lying next to Yugito. "I guess we can begin," Ginkgo says as Gaara and Yugito stare at the fox in shock. "I am sent by Kyuubi-sama to protect Naruto until he is strong enough to train with Kyuubi-sama." "But why would a Biju be willing to train a human? I thought demons and humans want to have nothing to do with each other," Yugito asks. "That is technically true, but who says that Naruto is human?" "What?" All three children screams at the same time. "Why is that so surprising to all of you?" Ginkgo asks, looking at the three children. "Since when did I become a demon? Technically, you're only a Hanyu. As for when, you'll have to ask Kyuubi-sama yourself. Then how are you so sure that I'm a demon? Kyuubi-sama told me he chose you, did he not? That means that he has chosen you to be his successor. In order for you to succeed him, you have to be a demon. When he says that you're not ready, it means that you are not a complete demon. There are signs, it's just that you never pay any attention to them. For example, since Kyuubi-sama isn't sealed in you, how can you have this much chakra and the rapid healing ability?" "Naruto-san, why do you seem so surprised?" Yugito asks. "I've never heard anything about this either." "Then perhaps we should leave while you sort out this problem," Gaara says. "No. This involves both of you as well, Jinchuriki of Shukaku and Jinchuriki of Nekomata." "You mean Ease. Nekomata. Yet another Biju. Since neither of your seals are produced by any kami, Naruto and Kyuubi-sama should be able to separate you from your Biju if Naruto can actually learn how to control his demon chakra." "But wouldn't they die if we do that?" "No. If you forcibly remove them, probably, but this ritual is fairly safe for Jinchurikis and Bijus as long as, like I said, that the seal isn't produced by any kami. Of course, there are side effects, but still." "What do you mean side effects?" Yugito asks, glaring at Ginkgo. "You will become Hanyas just like Naruto. As for whether you will become their successors or not, that depends on Ikibi-sama and Nibi-sama. I don't care about that. It's not like I don't get treated like a demon already. Don't worry, Yugito-chan. You'll be fine here. No one will treat you that way." "So what are we supposed to do to prepare?" Gaara asks. "Just what you would do as ninja training. All you need is a healthy enough body to survive the extraction. Standard ninja trainings should be good enough." "Good. I intend to become the strongest ninja in the entire world when I grow up anyway," Yugito says. "My father has already prepared me to become a ninja," Gaara say, "though I might have a better chance to succeed here than in Suna. I can tell my dad to put the three of us on the same team when we grow up. We'll be the strongest team in history. Even stronger than the Sanin. That would require for all of you to become ninjas first," Ginkgo says, putting her head on Yugito's lap. "I'm not worried about Yugito or Gaara. You, however, is different story." "Ginkgo-chan, you're so mean," Naruto says. "Are you three in there?" A voice asks. "What do you want, Dad?" Naruto. "It's nice that you three are becoming quick friends, but don't you think we should show Yugito her room first?" "Oh, that's right. Come on, Yugito-chan. It has been a couple of years since Yugito arrived in Konoha. During the 2 years, Gaara's seal has stabilized considerably with help from Naruto, Ginkgo and Yondaime. When the news reaches Suna, the Kazekage sends a delegate to bring his children back to Suna, but only Kankuro agrees to go back. Temari is already in her first year of the Ninja Academy and Gaara wants to remain in Konoha so he can be present when it's finally time for Shukaku to be removed from his body. In accordance with Ginkgo's suggestions, Naruto, Gaara, and Yugito's skills have improved by leaps and bounds with constant training. In a couple of years, the three will be entering the Ninja Academy, but their skills have easily reached Genin level even without using their tenant's powers. At the moment, Naruto is sitting in the Hokage's office with Ginkgo, Gaara and Yugito. "All right, Naruto. Not that I don't appreciate you visiting me, but what is the real reason you four are sitting here?" "I've been meaning to ask Naruto the same thing. We should be training right now." "Relax, Yugito-chan. I know there has been a lot of missions for the village lately, so I figure we should come here and see who we want as our Junin instructor. Isn't that a bit early, Naruto? You three still haven't entered the academy. Besides, there is no guarantee that the three of you will be placed on the same team. Dad, Naruto says, with a dark smirk that causes Minato to gulp, we will be placed on the same team, right? Of course. I don't see why you won't be. Hokage-sensei, why did you let Naruto-kun scare you into agreeing to something? Rin, Minato's newest assistant, asks, walking into the office with another pile of paperwork. Naruto can be very convincing when he wants to, Minato says, clearing his throat to hide his embarrassment. Anyway, has any teams returned yet? Yes, Kakashi-kun's squad is waiting outside. Oh, send them in. Nodding her head, Rin walks back outside and soon, Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy enter the office. Seeing the smile on Guy's face and the exasperated looks on the other three's faces, Naruto can't help but laugh, which causes Guy into another speech about youth and Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai to turn and glare at the blonde boy. That is very nice, Guy. However, I'm more interested in hearing about the mission. Hi, Hokage-sama, Asuma says, cutting in, we managed to track down an assistant to the former daimyo of Yuki no Kuni. However, when we lead him to Koyuki Heim upon our return, Koyuki Heim has refused to leave with the assistant. They are currently waiting outside the office. Oh, please send them in. Greetings, Hokage-sama, the 11 years old Koyuki says as she walks in with a middle-aged man. My apologies for troubling you at this time, Hokage-sama. Excuse me, your name is. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sandayu. Sandayu-san. I have heard of the predicament from my ninjas. How do you propose to resolve the problem? It is up to the princess to decide her future. It would seem that she has her mind set on remaining in Konoha, and it would be my duty to honor her wishes. However, I would like to ask Hokage-sama to arrange a dwelling more appropriate than the simple apartment that the princess is residing in. But I thought Kakashi and Rin lives in a house. Koyuki Heim asked Rin if she could move out last year due to certain noises. So we found her an apartment near our house, Kakashi answers. I see. It would be highly unnerving for me to see the princess living by herself, and since she refused to allow me to live with her, I am hoping that Hokage-sama can find another place for Koyuki Heim. It's up to her to decide, but I suppose I can allow her to move into the Hokage mansion. Yugito and Tamari are very good friends with Koyuki Heim, so it should be appropriate. It would be great if I can live with Tamari-chan and Yugito-chan. I suppose that is to your satisfaction as well. Of course. That is more than satisfactory. Well, then I guess this matter is settled. I would like to remain in Konoha as well, so if it's not too much trouble, would it be possible for me to move into Koyuki Heim's apartment? Sandayu asks. Of course. It doesn't make much sense for us to leave it empty. Since it's going to be rented out again anyway, I don't see why you can't live there. Thank you, Hokage-sama. With the matters settled, Minato orders everyone in the room, including the three children, to go to Koyuki's apartment and help her move into the Hokage mansion. Just as everyone is filing out of the office, Minato notices Naruto pulling Guy to the side. Naruto-kun, is there something you want to tell me? Well, yes. Have you thought about adopting someone? I do not know if I would have the time. But adopting is the youthful thing to do. Naruto says, knowing exactly which buttons to push to get the response he wants. Of course. I shall adopt every orphan in the village. Why don't we just start with one first? Why, Naruto-kun, do you have someone in mind? Yes. You see, Gaara, Yugito-chan, and I were playing yesterday and we spotted an orphanage. There is someone inside that tries so hard to become a ninja that I think your youthfulness will certainly help him on his quest. Naruto says, trying to keep up with Guy's enthusiasm. Naruto-kun, you must tell me where this orphanage is and what is that child's name. I don't know the exact name of the orphanage, but it's the one near the tower, and the boy's name is Rock Lee. Thank you, Naruto-kun. I shall go and adopt him now lest his enthusiasm of becoming a ninja dampens and he loses his youthfulness. Go ahead. I'll tell the others you'll join us later with good reasons, Naruto says as Guy runs off. Well, that takes care of that. The way you're changing everything, you won't know what will happen in the future now, Minato says, walking up next to his son. That's the point. If what happened in my last lifetime happens again, it'll be too late to reverse the damage, Naruto says. Besides, I failed them last time. I'm not going to let that happen again. Anything I should know that will happen soon. You know someone by the name of Uchiha Itachi. Of course. He's the genius of the Uchiha clan. Does he have a good friend by the name of Uchiha Shisui? Yes. What are you trying to get at? Itachi will try to massacre the entire Uchiha clan with the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. The death of Uchiha Shisui will be the sign. I think you should try to protect Shisui instead of letting Itachi kill him. The Mangekyo Sharingan will be very difficult to deal with. I'll keep that in mind. You have something to do. Go ahead. Oh, and when this is done, I want to take a trip out of town. Any particular reason? You'll see. I'll send Asuma and Kurenai to go with you. Okay. Well, I should get going. Kakashi and the others will wonder what's taking so long. After helping Koyuki and Sandayu settle in, Minato assigns Asuma and Kurenai to accompany Naruto on a trip out of town. Naruto was hoping to leave without anyone else noticing. However, Gaara and Yugito caught wind of the trip and demanded that they tag along as well. Naruto begrudgingly agreed to let the pair tag along, thinking that it might be more beneficial if they are present. So how far away is this place we're going again? Yugito asks. We should be almost there. The town should only be a couple of miles away. Another couple of miles. We've been traveling for 2 days already. Yugito screams. Hey, Kurenai, is that town the one I think it is? Asuma whispers while the children are arguing. I think so, but there must be a good reason why Hokage-sama wants us to go there. Just before the group walks into the town, Naruto asks Yugito and Gaara to transform into adults with the Henge no Jutsu so they can blend in. What surprised Asuma and Kurenai more than seeing the children's ability to use the genjutsu so flawlessly is the fact that Ginkgo also transformed into a small dog. Shrugging it off as a genjutsu created by the children, Asuma and Kurenai simply follow the 3 children into the town with Naruto in the lead. Now where would she be? Naruto says to himself. Where would who be Naruto-kun? Kurenai ne-chan. Do you know where is the most famous casino in the town? Don't you think you are a bit young to be gambling? This is important, Asuma ni-san. It should be over this way. Following Asuma's direction, the group stops in front the largest building in town. Before the 2 adults can ask any questions, Naruto walks inside confidently, followed closely by Yugito and Gaara. Looking around, Naruto calmly walks toward a table where a gray-haired elderly woman and a teenage girl is sitting at. The 2 women took a quick look at him before returning to their own business. A few rounds later, the old woman is trembling in rage while the teenager is doing her best to calm the old woman down. All right, brat. What is the big idea of betting against me every round? There's no rule saying I can't do that, right? Why, you little. Please calm down. There's no need to draw so much attention on ourselves, the teenage girl says. You're right. Let's go. I've had enough of this kid. As the old lady stands up and walks away, Naruto stretches and stands up as well and follows the 2 women out of the casino. By then, it's clear to the 2 women that Naruto's group is following them. Running up the street at a speed much faster than someone her apparent age should be able to run at, the old lady pulls the teenage girl around the corner. When the group finally catches up, they find themselves in an empty dead-end alley. Hey Ginkgo-chan, Naruto says, turning toward the fox-turned puppy, can you find them for me? Ginkgo bares her fangs and growls at Naruto in protest before submitting and tries to pick up the scent. Before Ginkgo can even get serious, the 2 women walk out from behind them at the entrance of the alleyway. So, who are you and why are the 5 of you following us? There you are, Tsunade Ba-chan. Did you just call her Tsunade-sama, Naruto? Kurenai asks. No, he just called me an old lady. Well, you are, Yugito says. If you kids are any better with your craft, you'd see that this is just a henge, Tsunade says. Oh, I can see through the henge just fine, Yugito says smugly, but that doesn't change the fact that you're still old. Yugito, be quiet, Tsunade-sama is one of the strongest ninjas in history. Relax, Asuma ni-san. Besides, Yugito-chan is right, it doesn't change the fact that she's still old. And since when do strong ninjas rely on henge no jutsu to avoid debt collectors? Debt collectors. You three kids should be grateful that the two older ones are wearing Konoha headbands, or else I would have attacked a long time ago. Let's go, Shizune. I don't have time for this. What? Too busy to even listen to how I can help you pay off some of your debt. Naruto says. Keep talking, Tsunade says, turning around to face Naruto again. Yugito-chan, we made quite a killing at the table just now, didn't we? Good enough to quadruple what we walked in with. Get on with it, kid. You have some gambling tools on you, right? I have some dices. One roll, whoever has the highest total wins. If you win, you take the money. What if you win? You come back to Konoha with us. And I want to do that. Why? Well, if that's the case, I made enough to pay 2 chunins for the B-rank protection mission. It's a nice vacation. Let's go home now. Wait. Fine. You got a deal, Tsunade says before muttering, can't believe I let a kid blackmail me. Well, let's go then. All right, you go first. Taking the dice out of Tsunade's hands, Naruto rolls the dices and gets 2 ones and 1 2. Laughing, Tsunade snatches the dices off the ground and promptly rolls 3 ones. The legendary sucker strikes again, Naruto says, rolling on the ground in laughter. That one doesn't count. This is the real one. Rolling the dices again, Tsunade gets 1 5 and 2 6s. Still shaking slightly in laughter, Naruto picks up the dices and rolls 3 6s. Staring at the 3 dices in shock, Tsunade starts trembling in anger. Fine. You win. We'll go back to Konoha. Doesn't mean I have to stay there anyway. We have to go back to the hotel to pack. Let's go then. We have one more stop to make before going back Konoha. One more stop, Kurenai says, looking over toward Asuma. After checking out of the hotel, Tsunade and Shizune follows Naruto's group out of the town. It doesn't take very long for Tsunade to see where Naruto is leading them. You're not thinking about getting him, are you? Yeah, but I don't trust him around someone as pretty as Kurenai-chan. So I wanted you to come along to keep him in line. Aren't you a bit young to be trying those lines on a girl, Naruto? What does Kurenai-chan being pretty or not have to do with how old I am, Asuma-ni-san? You scared that Naruto might steal your girl away, Asuma? Tsunade jokes. Che. I don't know what you're talking about, Asuma says, turning his head away blushing. About 2 days later, the group stops at a famous hot spring town about a day's travel away from Konoha. By this time, everyone besides Naruto is at the limits of their patience. Outside of Naruto and Tsunade, no one knows why the group has to travel for so long and still isn't resting comfortably in Konoha. Kurenai, Shizune, and Yugito forgave Naruto briefly when he mentioned the town's special attraction, but their anger returned tenfold when he told them they couldn't rest until they find their second target. They only relaxed somewhat when Tsunade told them it's in their best interest. So where should we go now that we're here? Yugito asks. You all go and check in at that hotel. I'll go and start looking for my target, Naruto says. I'll go with you. I'll convince him to come to Konoha with us, Tsunade says. You seem eager. If I'm going back there to suffer, I'm taking him with me, willingly or not. All right, let's go, Tsunade-ba-chan. Let's go and interrupt Ero Sennin's research. Tsunade-sama, perhaps I should go with you. No, Shizune, you go with the others. Remember, you girls stay away from the hot springs until we come back. Oh, okay. I never thought you'd be so eager to go back to Konoha, Tsunade-ba-chan, Naruto says after the others leave for the hotel. What? The quicker we find Ero Sennin, the quicker we get out of town, the quicker we get back to Konoha. I guess the thrill of pounding that old buffoon to the ground outweighs the negatives. Hey, you call him an old buffoon, but you won't admit that you're old yourself. Young man, I'll have you know that women are like fine wine, the more time they have to develop, the better they become. Yeah, and if you let them develop too long, they turn into vinegar. I don't mind drinking wine, but vinegar. Blah. I'll have you know that vinegar happens to be very good for your body. It might be for you, but I ain't interested. Tsunade's eyebrow twitches at Naruto's retort. She contemplates killing the boy, then running off with his money, but she realizes that she'd be leaving Shizune behind. Taking a few deep breaths to calm herself, Tsunade turns her attention back to the small boy in front of her. Your name is Naruto, right? Are you Minato's kid? Yeah. How are your folks doing? I haven't seen those two brats ever since I left Konoha. My dad's the Hokage. I don't know much about my mom though. What? I've never seen her my entire life. I guess she didn't make it out of the maternity ward and my dad is not telling me cause he doesn't want me to be sad. Tsunade raises her eyebrow at Naruto's words. Last she remembers, Kushina happens to be a perfectly healthy young woman. While there is always the chance that her health deteriorated or she had complication during childbirth, she ranks the chances pretty low unless there was extreme stress during the process. Tell me kid, when's your birthday? The day Kyuubi attacked, Naruto says, knowing where Tsunade's question is leading. Well, that would explain the stress, but the chances of death is still pretty low. I wonder which hot spring is Ero Sennin peeking in on. Did you just say he's peeking in on a hot spring? I thought you said he's researching, Tsunade asks, all thoughts on Kushina flying out the window. Yeah, that's what he does for his research. It's for his books. Why that no good little? I knew he's a pervert and likes to take a peek every now and then, but just wait till I get my hands on him. Naruto winces as Tsunade stomps through the street, her hands going through the motions of wrangling someone's neck. Fearing for Jiraiya's safety, Naruto quickly rushes up next to Tsunade, hoping to at least be present to save Jiraiya from certain death, though he probably can't do much about the extended hospital visit the old pervert will no doubt endure. Eventually, the pair finds the Sennin sitting up in a tree giggling perversely. Emitting a low growl from her throat, Tsunade knocks the tree over with one punch, which completely shatters the trunk. Even as he's falling to the ground, Jiraiya knows exactly who is responsible for his fall just from seeing the destruction. Hello Jiraiya, Tsunade says, cracking her knuckles. Hello Tsunade. Fancy seeing you here. Even with Naruto wrapping his arms around Tsunade's ankle, the medic nin simply drags Naruto along and proceeds to dish out one of the more painful beatings in Jiraiya's life. Tsunade finally stops when she remembers why they are looking for the old pervert to begin with. Picking him up by the collar, Tsunade glares at Jiraiya, giving him a silent warning to not let her catch him again before dragging him toward the hotel. Tsunade, what are you doing here? Jiraiya asks after finally regaining his senses. To drag you back to Konoha. But Tsunade, you hate that place. Why would you want to go back there? That's none of your business. Beside, I would think you would want to see that student you are so proud of. But I thought the brat. According to this kid, Minato is still alive and well. I've been meaning to ask, who's the runt? My name is Namikaze Naruto, Ero Sennin. What did you call me? You have no right to complain Jiraiya. Do you want me to teach another lesson? No, it's okay. Scrambling to his feet, Jiraiya quickly dusts himself off before gesturing for Tsunade to lead the way. Putting her hand on Jiraiya's shoulder to make sure he doesn't try to escape, Tsunade nods toward Naruto, telling him to follow. To say Kurenai, Asuma, and Shizune are shocked when Naruto's group arrives at the hotel is understatement. While Asuma is focused on all the injuries on Jiraiya's body, Kurenai and Shizune have an understanding look on their face when they consider why Naruto and Tsunade won't allow them to use the hot springs. Jiraiya-sama, what happened to you? Asuma says, rushing next to the Sennin. Tsunade-ba-chan happened to him, Naruto says, putting his arms behind his head, I'm heading to my room. The next morning, the group gathers at the lobby of the hotel. After letting Jiraiya suffer through his injuries overnight, Tsunade tends to his wounds so they can head back to Konoha. Jiraiya and Shizune seem surprised by Tsunade's eagerness, but the others wave it off, saying that she just wants this whole ordeal over with. After another day of traveling, the group finally finds themselves in front of Konoha's gates. It appears that the people have already gotten wind of the two Sanin's return, and almost the entire village is crowded around the gates to see if the rumors are accurate. Look at all the people. I didn't know you two are still so popular, Naruto says, remembering distinctly that there weren't nearly this many people the last time around. They must be avid readers of my works. As if anyone would want to read the garbage you write. It might be difficult to get through the crowd, Asuma says before the two Sanin get into an argument. Shall we take to the roofs to avoid the crowd? No. Let's just get this over with, Tsunade says, better do this now than to have them stopping us in the streets at every turn. Naruto studies the crowd as the group wades through slowly. Out of the corner of his eyes, he notices a little girl around his age with large chocolate-colored eyes staring at Tsunade in admiration. One look at her hairstyle and Naruto knows exactly who that is. Tugging at Kurenai's arm, Naruto gestures for the Chunin to lean in before whispering something in her ears. Nodding her head, Kurenai disappears, leaving behind a group of very confused ninjas. Giving them his innocent smile, which only increases their suspicion, Naruto gestures for the group to keep moving. Eventually, the group arrives at the Hokage Tower while aboard Kurenai is waiting with the little girl Naruto spotted. The girl's face brightens up as soon as she sees Tsunade and rushes up to her before Kurenai can try to stop the girl. Tsunade-sama, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, the girl says. Kurenai, who's this? Tsunade asks. I'm not quite sure. Naruto asked me to bring her here. Arigato Naruto-sama, the girl says, bowing toward Naruto. That's all right, Tenten-chan. And what did I tell you about calling me that? Naruto, is she a friend of yours? Asuma asks. Yeah, we met Tenten-chan while Gaara, Yugito-chan, and I were playing at the park one day. She told me one day when we were talking about becoming ninjas that her idol is Tsunade-ba-chan. Ow. Don't call Tsunade-sama that. Tenten screams as she hits Naruto again. There's the Tenten we know, Yugito says. The adults can help but smile as they watch the kids interact with each other. A few minutes later, Kurenai reminds the group that they still have to meet with the Hokage. Naruto makes Tenten go with the group to meet his father despite her claim that she wouldn't be allowed near the Hokage. Tenten is surprised when the entire group is allowed to enter the Hokage's office with a simply wave from Naruto to the assistant. Oh, Naruto, I see that you've returned, Minato says as he notices the people around his son, Jiraiya-sensei. Tsunade-ba-chan. Shizune. Minato, you little brat. You and your son are exactly the same. Sorry Tsunade-ba-chan, Minato says, shielding himself just in case. It's a pleasant surprise to see the three of you. You should thank this little brat for bringing us back, Tsunade says, ruffling Naruto's hair. Hey, cut it out. Naruto says, swatting away Tsunade's hands. Why don't you all wait outside? Tsunade says, Jiraiya, Minato, and I have some things to discuss. Looking toward the three adults in confusion, the group slowly files out of the room. Back in the office, Jiraiya and Minato notice the change in demeanor on Tsunade and immediately become serious. Now, I want you to tell me exactly what happened 6 years ago. 6 years ago, that's when Kyuubi attacked, right? Minato says. Yes. I want to know what happened. Minato looks hesitant for a moment, something that's not lost on Jiraiya and Tsunade, before telling the two Sannin what happened, leaving out details of the events a couple of years afterward. That's great, Minato, but what really happened? Tsunade asks again. I'm more interested in what happened to Kushina. Ah. Minato looks brightened up for a moment before becoming downcast again. Kushina, of course, she was your favorite. She's still in the hospital. Naruto told me that he thinks she's dead. She's in a coma. Been that way since she gave birth to Naruto, Minato says, still avoiding the other's eyes. The doctor says that they don't know if she'll ever wake up, but every bit of emotional support helps. I've been visiting her every day. Don't you think it would be better for Naruto to see her? I'm not even sure if she'll live. I don't want to get Naruto's hopes up just to lose her. The doctors already said if not for the fact I've been visiting so often, she probably would have died already, Minato says. Besides, she knows what I intended to do to Naruto. I'm not sure if she agrees with my decision. I don't know if she can accept it for Naruto to talk to her. It might worsen her condition. Minato, don't be unreasonable. Naruto is her son. No matter if Naruto has the demon sealed in him or not, she'll still love him. You're right. Well, now that you got that out of the way, I'll start asking my questions, Jiraiya says. So, did you ever figure out why things happened as it did when you tried the sealing? I think it's best if you ask Naruto. It's not my story to tell. What is that supposed to mean? Jiraiya asks. Naruto wants to keep that a secret. I tend to agree with him. What does that little kid have to hide? Tsunade asks, the conversation piquing her curiosity. I can only say there is a lot more to the little kid than what meets the eyes. Well, if I'm not going to get any more information, I think I'll visit Sarutobi-sensei. You go ahead, Jiraiya. Tell Sarutobi-sensei I said hi and that I'll drop by later, Tsunade says. Minato and I have to visit someone first. And I better not find you out of this village or peeking in on hot springs. But Tsunade, Jiraiya says as Tsunade glares at the Sennin, wait. This isn't about the hot springs. It's just that, well, I don't think you should go see Kushina with your hemophobia and all. I've gotten over it. At least I think I did. I've been practicing the last 2 days after Naruto told me that he thinks Kushina is dead. Why would you? I think I would be quite well aware of my favorite apprentice's health conditions, Jiraiya. I find it highly improbable that she would die from childbirth. Actually, I am surprised that her condition is bad as what Minato said. I guess I gave the doctors more credit than they deserved. I'll have my hands full training them. Train them. Does that mean you will stay in Konoha? Minato asks. I'm not going to leave Kushina like this. I guess I'll stay until she recovers. It's been a couple of months since Naruto brought back the two Sannin. Ever since Tsunade had the talk with Minato, he has been a lot more forthcoming with Naruto about Kushina's conditions as well as everything he feels his son should know about his mother. Kushina's condition has also been improving consistently with Tsunade's care as well as Naruto's presence. Also in that short period of time, the two veteran ninjas found out firsthand just how cunning the prized young trio is, especially their de facto leader Naruto. In those 2 months, they had already gotten Jiraiya to promise to stop peeking for a year to the joy of the Kunoichi population of Konoha and for Tsunade to stop gambling and drinking for a year much to the happiness of Shizune. Being as famous as the two Sannin are, they can't go back on their words, especially since Naruto, Yugito, and Gaara deemed it fit to announce the news to the entire village. During that time, Naruto also managed to make Tsunade take on a new apprentice in Rin, who was best friends with Shizune before Shizune left the village with Tsunade. Unbeknownst to Tsunade, Naruto has more plans for her, but he knows he needs the help of his mother since he found out how close Tsunade is to Kushina from his father. At the moment, the trio is training in one of the training grounds being observed by Jiraiya while Koyuki is playing with Ginkgo on the side, same thing that has been happening for the last couple of weeks ever since Jiraiya was banned from the bathhouses. To say that Jiraiya is shocked by the kids' ability is an understatement, as each of them is at least high genin rank before attending the academy. He already knows about Gaara and Yugito's condition, but he has yet to figure out how Naruto can match them in chakra, which only serves to build the mystery around the young boy as Naruto hasn't exactly been forthcoming with the story Minato talked about to either him or Tsunade. Alright, why don't the three of you take a break? Already. We aren't even tired yet. We just started warming up, Yugito says. I would have thought you already know our training regiment after watching us for 2 weeks. To be fair, he was sleeping for most of those 2 weeks, Naruto-kun. Either that or we were training in a sandstorm I created. Well, we never know where we will be sent on a mission, so it's best to get used to all kinds of environment. That's thinking a bit too far ahead, aren't you, Naruto? You're not going to be traveling too far outside of Konoha unless the missions are C-ranked or above. You won't be getting those for a few years yet, Jiraiya says. Don't underestimate us, Ero Sennin. Gaara, Yugito-chan and I can handle anything. In fact, I bet the three of us can defeat you in an all-out fight. Oh ho. You really think so, do you? What are you going to put on it? Double or nothing. If we win, we double your punishment. If you win, you're freed of your obligations. Now I'm really going to take this seriously. Naruto and Yugito move in front of Gaara as Jiraiya gets into his stance. The three kids run at Jiraiya as soon as he gestures for them to proceed. Jumping to the side, Naruto attacks Jiraiya from his right while Yugito moves in from his left. Going though hand seals, Jiraiya's hair starts to stretch and covers his body with his ninpu, Harijizo. Just before Naruto and Yugito jump right into the spikes, Gaara's sand wraps around their waist and pulls them back and another sand column thrusts forward pushing Jiraiya back. When the sand column collapses, Jiraiya's hair starts to soften but instead of shortening to its original length, it gets longer and wraps around all three youngsters with his Ranji Shigami no Jutsu. Just as Jiraiya is about to ask them to surrender, the trio dissipates into sand. Before he can even wonder when the kids switch to Suna Bunshin, Jiraiya feels a slight shift in the ground and leaps up to avoid the Doden, Shinjiu Zanshu no Jutsu by Naruto. While in the air, Jiraiya can't help but feel a slight chill from Naruto's smirk. As soon as his feet land on the ground, Jiraiya starts sinking into a swamp from Naruto's Doden, Yamanuma. All around the swamps, sand pillars start rising from the muddy water pointing to sky. Following the needle, Jiraiya looks up just in time to see Yugito leaping over the swamp. A lightning jutsu later, Jiraiya is lying unconscious on the ground, the swamp and the pillars long since disappeared. Jiraiya should have listened to his own advice and take the spar seriously, a voice says from the entrance. Tsunade Ba-chan. What are you doing here? Minato is with Kushina, so I decided to give them some time alone. Shizune and Rin are at the hospital just in case something happens, Tsunade says. I'll just revive the old pervert and let you explain to him how he lost. Where am I? Jiraiya asks when Tsunade is done. You are still in the training ground, where you got your butt kicked. That's quite a genjutsu. I couldn't break out of it. It wasn't a genjutsu arrow senin. The pillars that Gaara created are called Saraishin. It takes Yugito's Raiden, Jian and pass the electricity to the ground like a lightning rod. However, in this case, since the pillars are in the middle of the swamp, it's passed into the swamp instead. Since water conducts electricity, it charged the entire swamp, with you in it. How did you come up with tactics like that? It's all Naruto-kun's idea. He said we should come up with tactics that uses each of our strengths since we got Hokage-sama to put us on the same team when we graduate. It was rather ingenious. I for one did not know my sand can be used as a lightning rod. I never thought you would have Earth Chakra affinity Naruto. I don't Tsunade Ba-chan. I have Wind Chakra affinity. Then how can you perform those Doden Jutsu so well? I'm the one that came up with the tactic, it won't do if I fail my part. So I practice a lot. Then why don't you try using Fuden Jutsu instead? I can't. Fuden, Daitapa and Fuden, Renkuden would just blow you away instead of holding you down. I could use Kanashibari no Jutsu and let the sand tower lead to your feet, but any skilled ninja can break out of that easily. Instead of suggesting for them to change, you should be grateful that the kids held back. If Yugito uses full power with her jutsu, you would have died from the electric shock. I still think Minato is overdoing it. Sure, the other clans teach their kids some simple techniques, but to teach kids that aren't in the academy yet techniques like Doden, Yamanuma, Raiden, Jian, Fuden, Daitapa, Fuden, Renkuden, and Kanashibari no Jutsu are a bit much. Let it go, Jiraiya. It's not like it's doing any harm to the kids, Tsunade says before thinking to herself. However, it does seems a bit odd that they perform all those high-level technique and doesn't look the least bit tired. Looks like I'm just in time to take you kids to lunch. Jiraiya sensei, Tsunade Ba-chan, do you two want to join us? No. I better get back to the hospital. I still have a lot of work I need to do. I just wanted to catch some fresh air. I'll pass. I promised Sarutobi sensei that I'll have a drink with him. It's your loss. Tsukiji-San's cooking is the best, Naruto says while shooting a dirty glare at his father. If Minato notices the glare, he is doing a good job ignoring it. If he was hesitant before, he is downright scared of hiring Tsuki to be the family chef now. He has no doubt that Kushina will recover, especially since she is now under the care of the famed slug Sanin. He used to like Tsuki's cooking just as much as Naruto does, but Kushina beat it into him early on in their relationship that she will not allow her boyfriend to eat such unhealthy food for every meal of the day. In fact, she forbade him from eating ramen for a whole month once. If she ever finds out Naruto inherited that trait from his father and he is spoiling Naruto without her permission, Minato has no doubt that Kushina will have his head the moment she can get off that hospital bed, and that is a prospect he is not looking forward to. Suddenly, someone fires a red signal flare into the air from the village. One look at the flare and Tsunade starts running back to the village. Tsunade Ba-chan, what happened? Minato asks as everyone starts running alongside Tsunade. Rin and Shizune are calling me back. Something major is happening. What exactly is happening? I don't know. I told them to use the flare if something happens and they can't handle it themselves. Just as the group is talking, someone fires a green signal flare into the air. Tsunade's concerned look changes to a happier one, but she still doesn't slow down. Minato, Naruto, I need you two to come to the hospital with me. Why? Is it about Kushina? I can't be sure yet since I'm not there, but I think you two should be there just in case. She has been showing signs for a few days now. I just haven't told you because I'm not sure if it's because she's starting to wake up or if it's just muscle spasms. When I gave Shizune and Rin the flares, I told them to use the red if it's an emergency, the green if it appears that Kushina is coming to. Jiraiya-sensei, please take the 3 kids back to Minato's place. Naruto and I need to be at the hospital, Minato says before coming to a complete stop. Tsunade-sama, please slow down. What are you doing, Minato? We need to be at the hospital now. I left behind a kunai in Kushina's room. We'll use my special technique. When the group arrives at the hospital room with the Hiraishin no Jutsu, they find Shizune and Rin pacing about the room nervously. Making her apprentices push Minato and Naruto outside, Tsunade starts checking on Kushina's condition. A few moments later, Tsunade emerges from the room and gestures for the 2 Namikaze to follow her inside. She's up, but she is still very weak. She should be resting and trying to build up energy right now, but she wants to see the 2 of you first. Kushina-chan. Minato screams as he rushes to his wife's side. Okawa-san. Minato-kun. Naruto-kun. Kushina whispers as she tries to reach out but is stopped by Minato. Tsunade-ba-chan. How much longer is Kushina going to stay in the hospital? Given how long she was out, another month at least, and that's with the help of medical ninjutsu, Tsunade says, but all the signs are good. She should be able to make a full recovery. Of course, that's not to say I recommend she rejoin the ranks of Konoha nins once she recovers. Ah, but Tsunade-ba-chan. No. And you and your family have best stop calling ba-chan. Tsunade says as Kushina lets out a weak smile that quickly morphs into a yawn. All right. Everyone out. She needs to rest. I'll be back tomorrow, Kushina-chan. Me too, Okawa-san. It has been a couple of months since Kushina woke up. Tsunade released her from the hospital a couple of weeks ago and she can now move around with the help of a wheelchair. At the moment, she is sitting in the training ground with Minato watching their son training with his friends. Minato-kun, what do you think about Yugito-chan? What do you mean? She seems like a nice girl, doesn't she? She's pretty close to Naruto-kun too. Kushina-chan, I don't think we should get involved in this, Minato says, already knowing what his wife has in mind. Tamari-chan and Koyuki-chan seem like they like Naruto-kun too. I wonder if any one of them is capable of fighting off the others like what I did. And I wonder if Naruto can fight off the council as well as I did. Ero Sennin hasn't corrupted my Naruto-kun, has he? I've been paying special attention in keeping him from teaching Naruto anything inappropriate, Minato says before whispering to himself, not that it makes any difference. What do you mean, Minato-kun? What do you mean it won't make any difference? Kushina-chan, there's something you need to know about Naruto. I think it's best if you hear it from him, however, Minato says before gesturing toward Naruto. Hey Naruto, I need to get back to work. Why don't you spend some time with your mother? Nodding his head, Naruto rushes over to Kushina's side with Ginkgo as Tamari starts training with Gaara while Yugito shows Koyuki a few moves so she can protect herself. Naruto-kun, your father told me there is something I should know about you, but he won't tell me what it is and that I should ask you myself. So he told you that, huh? I don't know if I should tell you just yet. You just got out of the hospital. Give your mom a bit more credit. I am just fine. Now, what is the big secret that you and your father are keeping from me? Closing his eyes and taking a deep breath, Naruto tells Kushina a shortened version of everything that happened in his previous life as well as its effect on his current life. When he finally finishes his story, Naruto looks up at Kushina to gauge her reaction, but he only sees a blank look on her face. Mom, are you all right? That's a good one, Naruto-kun, Kushina says after a few moments. So how long did it take for you and your father to come up with that story? He didn't lie. I heard the same story from Kyuubi-sama himself, Ginkgo says. Kushina stares wide-eyed at the silver fox. Putting her hands together, Kushina tries to dispel the genjutsu she believes she is caught in. When she finally realizes that the talking fox isn't an illusion, she turns her shocked eyes on her son, who looks back with concerned eyes. Kami, you weren't joking around, Kushina whispers before stealing her glare. Why, I ought to kill all those villagers for treating you like that. I told Minato the people will never see you as the hero, Kushina continues and softens her glare. though it's nice what you did for Hinata-chan and Yugito-chan, Naruto-kun. So that's why you didn't want me to be a Jinchuriki. That's right. It must have been tough for you without either Minato-kun or I, Kushina says, wrapping her arms around her son. Now, I don't think I heard anything about my future daughter-in-law. I never married. What? Why? I guess with everything about Akatsuki and Oto, I just never had the time to think about it. We can't have that happen this time around. Minato-kun and I won't allow it. It won't, Ginkgo says, licking her paw. How would you know, Ginkgo-chan? You'll see in due time. Both Kushina and Naruto stare at Ginkgo in confusion, but the silver fox closes her eyes and rests her head on Kushina's lap. Kushina and Naruto huff and glare at the fox at the same time, which draws a chuckle from someone behind them. Sometimes you two act so much alike it's scary. He is my son Tsunade-ba-chan. Why you little, stop calling me that. I brought you back from a coma, show some respect. Kushina and Naruto both stick their tongue out at Tsunade, which draws another chuckle from the person standing next to Tsunade. And what are you laughing at, Ero Sennin? Why you little brat, even your father doesn't call me that. Good job, Naruto-kun. That's exactly who he is, Ero Sennin. Kushina, you're ruining the youths of Konoha. You should be teaching them how to respect the elders, not encouraging them to talk to us like he does. You deserve exactly what you get, Ero Sennin. What did you call me, Tsunade-ba-chan? That's it. Naruto-kun, let's get out of here. We don't want to get in the middle of their fights. Nodding his head, Naruto helps Kushina back into her wheelchair and wheel her away, gesturing for the others to follow them. Mere seconds after the group clears out of training ground, everything inside is reducing to splinters and rubble. A few hours later, a harried Shizune and Rin rush to the training ground after everything has settled to treat the two injured Sannin. Even with the help of Shizune and Rin, it still takes Tsunade and Jiraiya a whole week to completely recover and be released from the hospital. While Tsunade is recovering, Naruto talks to his mother about his plans for Tsunade. After hearing Naruto's plan, Kushina is even more eager than her son to begin the plan. Ahaya, Tsunade-ba-chan. I'm here for my checkup. Don't call me, oh forget it. Just take a seat, Kushina, Tsunade says. Where are Minato and Naruto? Minato-kun is stuck at work and Naruto-kun is playing with his friends after dropping me off here. Don't those two know you still need at least one of them accompanying you? I feel just fine, Tsunade-ba-chan. I can start moving about on my own. I'm sending Rin with you when you leave. Oh, that's okay. Naruto-kun will pick me up with his friends. All right. He seems mature enough to know what he should do if anything goes wrong. If Tsunade is paying attention to Kushina, she would see that Kushina has a brief dark grin when Kushina tells her Naruto would come to the hospital. As such, she is blissfully unaware of what Kushina and Naruto has in store for her. However, Shizune, who is Tsunade's assistant for the day, notices the grin and begins fidgeting, having heard stories of and seen personally some of Minato and Kushina's famous mischief, most of which Naruto has already surpassed at his young age, much to the pride of his parents. Shizune, there's no need to be so nervous. It's just a routine checkup. Go. Gomen Tsunade-sama. Hey Tsunade-ba-chan, what do you think of Naruto-kun? That annoying little brat. Sometimes he acts twice his age, sometimes he acts half his age, I don't know how to read him at all. Doesn't looking at him and his friends just makes you want to have a child of your own? So I can have a brat like that annoy me all day? No thanks. Besides, I'm much too old to have a child. You, however, shouldn't have any problem once your body fully recovers if that's what you want to ask. That's nice to know. So, you don't want to have a child at all? Kushina says, covering her disappointment with a weak chuckle. It's not a matter of wanting one or not. 1. I don't have anyone to have a child with. 2. Like I said, I am too old to have one. You can always adopt one. Taking care of Shizune and Rin are already taking too much out of my time. I don't have spare time to take care of a kid. You can get them to help you out with the kid too. Beside, if you adopt one, you can always find one that is old enough to do a decent job taking care of himself or herself. What is this, Kushina? It's almost like you are trying to talk me into getting a kid. And if I am, I'd say you're crazy. Don't be so negative, Tsunade-ba-chan. I bet Shizune-chan would love to have a little brother or sister, don't you Shizune-chan? Kushina says, remembering what Naruto told her about the plan. Shizune says, surprised at being dragged into the argument. Come on Shizune-chan, I see how you always look at Naruto-kun and his friends when they are playing. They just remind me of how I was when I was younger playing with Kakashi-kun, Asuma-kun, Genma-kun, Rin-chan, and Kurenai-chan, that's all. So you don't want to have a sibling? Well, that's not exactly it either. So you do want one then? Well, Shizune stutters, fidgeting with her fingers blushing. All right, if you have any suggestions Kushina, let's hear it, Tsunade says. I heard that there is this little girl who simply idolizes you. This is all Naruto's idea isn't it? Tsunade says as she glares at Kushina. If Shizune wants a sibling then I don't mind taking one in, but I don't want someone who looks at me more like a hero than a mother. Ah, Tsunade ba-chan, just give Tenten-chan a chance, Kushina says. Are you talking about Naruto-kun's friend? Shizune asks, the one that we met on our first day here in Konoha. Yeah, that's the one she's talking about. She is actually a very nice girl Tsunade-sama. I'm surprised that she's an orphan, the poor girl. So you approve of her then? Tsunade asks sighing, knowing she can't win against both women. Yes, but the final decision is yours of course Tsunade-sama. Kushina smirks knowing that the battle is won. It still amazes her how well Naruto understands Tsunade. Of course, she has no reason to doubt the story Naruto told her, but it's amazing how well Naruto can read other people and uses that information to his advantage. When Tsunade finishes Kushina's checkup and walks out of her office together, they find Naruto waiting outside with Tenten sitting next to him swinging her leg trying to figure out why the boy brought her along to the hospital. Okawa-san, is everything okay? Yes, the checkup went just fine. Konnichiwa, Kushina-sama, Tsunade-sama, Tenten says, bowing. Ahaya Tenten-chan. I think Tsunade-sama and Shizune-chan has something to talk to you about, Kushina says smiling. Naruto-kun and I will just head home now. Smiling toward his mother, Naruto helps Kushina out of the hospital. When the pair gets home, Minato notices the grins on their face and asks them about it. Are you sure that is such a good idea Naruto? Minato asks after he hears the whole story. Of course. Tsunade ba-chan kept telling me how much she misses the days when she was watching Shizune grow up whenever Kurenai-sensei brought her son to the Hokage's office. Also, in the time they spend together, Tsunade ba-chan took a real liking toward Tenten-chan. Even so, I'm still slightly concerned. I bet Tenten-chan can convince Tsunade ba-chan to stay in the village too, Naruto says, interrupting his father, and if Tsunade ba-chan is staying, she'll make sure Ero Sennin won't be going anywhere either. Well, that settles it. We'll invite them over for dinner to celebrate tomorrow. Minato-kun, you sure changed your mind in a hurry, Kushina says, giggling. I can't help it. It would be really beneficial to have Tsunade ba-chan and Jiraiya-sensei here in Konoha. As long as Ero Sennin doesn't go peeking in the hot springs. You mean that pervert still hasn't given up that habit? I'll have Tsunade ba-chan to teach him a few lessons. But Kushina-chan, Kakashi-kun would be really disappointed if Jiraiya-sensei can't write his books. Give him the choice of having the books or having Rin-chan and let him decide. I don't think Rin really mind Kakashi reading them. Bet she doesn't feel the same about the possibility of Jiraiya peeking on her. Kurenai-sensei and Anko-sensei managed to get him to stop for a while, then he started up again. Once Tsunade ba-chan died then he completely stopped, not that he lasted too long afterward. Anko. You mean Orochimaru's student? Minato asks, trying to distract Naruto. Yeah, nice to know the council eventually forgave her for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Not to mention she actually decided to teach. She never actually took a team. She just show up at Konoha 11's meetings every now and then and teach us a few moves. Konoha 11. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about that nickname. That's the name the villagers came up with for the 4 teams that participated in the Chunin tournament for the first time in my year. Shouldn't 4 teams make 12 people? Oh, they left out Sasuke, didn't they? Yeah, that Tem ended up destroying everything. Who are the other 10 people Naruto-kun? Sasuke, Tem and I are on the same team with Haruno Sakura-chan under Kakashi-sensei. Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino-chan, Akamichi Choji are on the same team under Asuma Sensei. Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata-chan, and Aburame Shino are on the same team under Kurenai Sensei. Hyuga Neji, Tenten-chan, and Rock Lee are on the same team under Guy Sensei. Why would Hiyashi and Hizashi ever allow Neji to be placed under Guy? Kushina says, shuddering. Why would anyone allow their child to train under Guy? They don't have any say in team selections, you know that, Kushina. Why did Sandaime Sama let Guy take on a team? Guy must have talked him into it. Once he starts, you do anything to get him to stop, Minato says before looking around. Hey, where's Naruto? He was here telling about the teams just a moment ago. Wait, do you smell that, Minato-kun? Ah, he must have been hungry and wandered off to the kitchen. I'm kind of hungry myself, Minato-kun. Go fix lunch. It's been a couple of years since Kushina awakened from her coma. Just like Naruto had predicted, with Tenten by her side, Tsunade decided to stay in Konoha and thus by extension, forcing Jiraiya to stay in Konoha as well. Now at the age of 8, Naruto is clamoring about attending the Ninja Academy the upcoming term. Despite his desire to hold Naruto back another year so Naruto can spend more time with Kushina, Minato agrees to the demands since he has the obligation of entering Gaara into the academy this coming year, and he shudders to think what kind of disaster Naruto will cause if Gaara is the only one allowed to enter. While going through the paperwork in his office and sending messages to Suna updating Gaara's progress, Minato receives an urgent message from Ginkgo telling him to go home. Ignoring protests from his new secretary, Minato rushes home with Ginkgo by his side and finds a man with short flaming red hair sitting in the living room enjoying a cup of tea and talking with Kushina. Kushina-chan, who's this? Oh, Minato-kun, you're home. This young man says that he's your old acquaintance. You let him in just because he says that? No, of course not, silly. Naruto-kun and Ginkgo-chan says that you know him as well. Yes, it's been 4 years since we last met, Hokage. 4 years, wait, you're Kyuubi no Yuko, the young man says. Suddenly, the young man's chakra begins to spike and 9 tails emerge from his back. Out of instinct, Minato pulls Kushina out of her seat and shields her with his body, his trusted 3-pronged kunai in his hand. Ignoring the tense atmosphere, Ginkgo walks past Minato, moves next to Kyuubi, and, after a quick bow, nuzzles against Kyuubi's leg. Seeing that the Kyuubi doesn't mean any harm, Kushina leaves the living room to handle the Anbu that is sure to arrive. Oi, you stupid fox, what do you think you're doing scaring my parents like that? Naruto screams, coming downstairs, and hide your stupid tails. We need to find a cover story for when the Anbu gets here. Che, you always want to spoil my fun kit, Kyuubi says. All right, Shukaku, Nekomata, stop cowering and get down here. Begrudgingly, Gaara and Yugito slowly descend the stairs. Even if Kyuubi isn't paying attention to them, Gaara and Yugito can't help but to feel slightly scared, and they decide to hide behind Naruto. There are a few things we need to discuss, so take a seat, Kyuubi says to the 3 youngsters. Did I miss anything? Kushina asks, returning to the living room. Not at all. We are just getting started, Kyuubi says. It's getting near the time when we extract Shukaku and Nekomata from these 2. In order to do that, we need the power of the Shinigami. Why would we need the Shinigami? Naruto asks. We need someone with the power to extract souls from a human body. I can't think of any other beings who can perform the job. But in order to do that, we need to use the Shiki Fujin, Minato says. Yes, but with a sacrifice of soul, we can exchange it to spare yours. Shinigami should be happy to make that deal. After all, he can't be too happy about having his pet sealed in a human. You mean we need to offer someone as a sacrifice? I can't. Don't worry, little Hokage. We have a spare soul handy for use, Kyuubi says, patting Ginkgo's head. You mean you're going to sacrifice Ginkgo-chan? Naruto screams. Heavens no. There is no way I'll offer her up. She still need to serve another purpose. I'll get to her next, Kyuubi says. I'm talking about the spirit of the mad priest sealed in Gaara along with the Shukaku. I'm sure the Shinigami wanted to collect that overdue soul for a while now. I almost forgot about that. That's what made Shukaku so difficult to control in the first place. That's right, Kit. Now that you and your father managed to separate the 2, it makes things much easier for all of us. So when and where should we perform the ceremony? In a secluded area on the night of the new moon, Kyuubi says, the lack of light should hide our purpose well. This isn't something we want to do in broad daylight. That's a week away, but where should we host it? How about the Forest of Death? How would you know about that god-awful? Minato says before noticing his son's annoyed glare. Ah, right. Forgot about that. Anyway, the Forest of Death should be secluded enough. That takes care of one order of business. Now, the second topic at hand relates to your son. What do you want from me now, you stupid fox? Like I said 4 years ago, I have chosen you to be my successor. I'm certain Ginko already told you about how you're a Hanyu. Wait, Naruto-kun's a Hanyu. Why didn't you tell me about that, Minato? I don't know he's a Hanyu either. Don't blame Dad, it's not something that's easy to bring up, so I didn't tell either one of you. Naruto says, it's a side effect from how I got back here. You already made up your mind, Kyuubi, so why bring it up now? Seeing that you're not exactly my kin, I have to have a good reason to hand my throne to you. Being trapped in me for that long still isn't a good enough reason. I never was trapped in you in this lifetime. Therefore, there is no good reason for you to succeed me. What are you trying to get at? Ginko, do it. Nodding her head, Ginko stands up on her hind legs and slowly morphs into the form of a young girl. When the transformation is complete, a young girl with pale skin and waist-length silver hair dressed in a sparkling silver robe stands in front of everyone. Ginko-chan. You never told me you can transform into a human, Naruto says. I'm a kitsune. All kitsune has the ability to take the form resembling a human. The other demons can transform to a certain extent as well, but the weaker ones would have difficulty holding the form. And I can assure you that my daughter is a very powerful kitsune, nothing like the others. Ginko-chan is your daughter. You are not planning what I think you are planning, are you? Minato says, eyeing both Kyuubi and Ginko. You're going to force Naruto and Ginko to get married. That would make him my kin, wouldn't it? Kyuubi says, I see no other method that would appease the other demons. If the demons start fighting each other for power, it can very well spill over to the human world. That is something that neither of us want to happen. But, that's enough, Naruto. We can get back to this topic later, Minato says. Very well. We don't need to go into details for a few years yet. This brings me to last topic at hand. But first, I need to speak to Shukaku and Nekomata directly in private. Naruto looks over to Gaara and Yugito to gauge their reaction. Seeing their hesitancy, Naruto tries to convince Kyuubi to let him join the conversation. At first, Kyuubi is adamant that the conversion be between the 3 Biju only, but eventually, Kyuubi makes the concession to let Ginko accompany the 2 Jinchuriki. While still concerned, Gaara and Yugito know that the Kyuubi won't be making any more concessions and follow Kyuubi to one of the side rooms. About 15 minutes later, the pair enters the living room again, bordering on chakra exhaustion. Knowing how tiring it can be for the host to allow the Biju to take full control, Naruto already has some snacks prepared for the two. I found out all I need to know, Kyuubi says as he walks into the living room with Ginko. Now, after the ceremony, Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will be taking the 3 children on a small training trip, just to let them learn their new abilities from becoming a Hanyu. Exactly how long is this small trip? Minato asks. Depends on how quickly they learn. Conservative guess would be about a year. There is one thing I need to do before I can go with you, Naruto says. Yes, the Uchiha wouldn't want that happening again, or else I'll have to personally make sure that his clan will die out before it's time, just to save us the trouble this time around, Kyuubi says. Don't worry, kid, whatever you have planned, you'll have 3 Biju backing you up. I doubt the Shinigami will be so forgiving toward us this time around if the same thing happens again. You 3 together should be able to defeat Itachi. We should still have a few months before he attacks Shisui. The extractions should be done by then, Naruto says. Prevent him from gaining the Mangekyo in the first place. It seems you did pick up some tactics from all the lessons I taught you after all. It's a nice idea, but did you consider what to do with him afterward? Attacking a fellow Konoha nin is an act of treason. We can deal him however we want, Minato says. You speak as though he will be sitting around waiting patiently for you to pass your judgment. So you're suggesting? That's right, Hokage. If we do what your son suggests, we have to kill him on the spot. Of course, that would mean we have to take out Uchiha Shisui as well, least he feels responsible and he gains the Mangekyo. After that, since there will be no witness to what actually happened, those close to the two will want to take revenge by hitting out on people they think is responsible. If you're lucky, you might get away with a minor civil war and keep your position. Just preventing Shisui's death and letting Itachi get away is not an option either. Are you sure we can't just capture him alive? You do realize how difficult to capture someone alive as opposed to killing him in an all-out fight, right? Kyuubi asks. After all, Sasuke would never have been to get away from you at the Valley of the End if you didn't care about keeping him alive. What do you suggest then? Relax, Kit. I wonder how many Iwa nin you have under your watch in your prison. We still have a few that tried to assassinate several of our more prominent ninjas. Minato starts then stops abruptly. I see. Now all we need is to set the whole thing up. I hate to lose two of my better ninjas like this, but it appears I have no choice. They aren't yours to have in the first place. If you allow things to progress as is, you're going to lose those two along with the rest of the Uchiha clan. Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will take out the trash along with them, so I only need you to hold the other ninjas back until we've finished the job. All I need to do is to send them out to take care of a few prisoners in secret, Minato says. That's rather standard procedure for taking care of the more dangerous prisoners the other villages try to negotiate a release for. It seems we have covered everything. I will be back in 6 days. A week later, a small group is gathered around a small fire in the Forest of Death. Minato set up a small camp as soon as they entered. While the others are waiting patiently, Naruto is pacing back and forth as Kyuubi has yet to arrive. Sit down, Naruto. You're making me dizzy, Ginko says, once again in her human form. Where is your father? He should have returned yesterday. Chi-Chi-Yui will be here. Don't worry, Ginko says. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's already here. I'm nervous. What if things don't work out the way we planned it? Don't worry, Yugito-chan. If there's one thing the darn fox is good at, it's figuring out how a biju can escape from the host. He's been trying for a long time before, he knows what he's talking about. Is that supposed to flatter me? Kyuubi says in his human form, hanging upside down on a tree branch. You're right about him after all, Ginko-chan. He is my father, Naruto, Ginko says, standing up and brushing away imaginary dusts. Let's get started. I will stabilize Gaara's body with my chakra while you two do the same for Yugito. Your father will summon the Shinigami. To make things easier, Gaara, Yugito, you two should let Shukaku and Nekomata take over for now. Remember, once the Hokage summons the Shinigami, let me do all the talking. Nodding their head, Gaara and Yugito close their eyes and slowly let their demon chakra fill their body. When they open their eyes again, Naruto can spot the telltale sign that the biju are in control and gestures for his father to perform the Shiki Fujin. So you have summoned me again. Perhaps you are desperate for me to capture your soul. Excuse me, Shinigami-sama, but we have a task that only you can complete. Kyuubi, it seems that you are already released from your prison. I suppose I can listen to your request, but don't expect me to let you off easy if I find your request a waste of my time. Thank you, Shinigami-sama. We wish to release Shukaku and Nekomata from these two youngsters' body. We know that only Shinigami-sama can ensure the safety of both the children and the biju. Nekomata, sealed inside a human child. Very well, but what do you offer in exchange for saving the children's life? The spirit of a crazed priest is sealed in this young boy's body along with Shukaku. Is his soul enough in exchange? Hardly. If you offer my summoner's life as well, then perhaps I can reconsider. No. Naruto screams, leave my father alone. If you want someone's life, then take mine instead. Naruto. Be quiet. I said let me do all the talking. Silence, Kyuubi. If you are offering yourself, then I suppose you would have to do. Are you sure you are willing to die in place of your father? It's not like I haven't died before. Beside, I already told my dad everything major that happened in my past life. Kyuubi can fill in the details when my dad needs the information. Very well, Shinigami says, reaching out with his arm. No. Ginko screams, moves in front of Naruto and faces him. Why can't we just offer this Itachi person instead? Chi-Chi-Yui and you are trying to get rid of him, right? Foolish girl. A sacrifice must offer his own life willingly. But your target isn't willing. What about them? Listen carefully, little girl. I said the sacrifice, not the target. Then take mine instead. Leave Naruto alone. Ginkgo screams. Naruto still has a lot of important things he needs to do. Ginkgo-chan. Gomen Naruto-san. I promised you and Kushina-san that you will have a wife in this lifetime, but it seems that I am unable to deliver on that promise myself. As Naruto and Ginkgo are talking, the Shinigami reaches out toward the pair before Kyuubi can voice his opinion on the matter. While keeping one eye on Ginkgo, Naruto waits until the last moment before pushing Ginkgo out of the way, intending to take the blow himself. However, instead of reaching through him, the Shinigami once again reaches past him and into Yugito's body instead. Staring wide-eyed at the god of death, Naruto moves closer to Gaara just in case the Shinigami decides to take the soul after extracting the two Biju. Pulling out Nekomata's soul, the Shinigami plants the soul through a portal in the ground before reaching out toward Gaara and repeating the action with Shukaku. Once he's finished, the Shinigami reaches out toward Gaara again and pulls out the screaming soul of the crazed priest before devouring him. Looking over toward Kyuubi, the Shinigami points toward him then gestures toward Gaara and Yugito. Finally understanding the Shinigami's instructions, Kyuubi calls out to Ginkgo and Naruto as he rushes over toward Gaara and transfers a small amount of his chakra to the young boy's body while the pair does the same for Yugito. You, the Shinigami says, pointing toward Naruto, still serves a purpose in this world. The care you two show toward each other convinced me that you could accomplish the task assigned to you. I shall allow you two to stay in this realm for now, but rest assured, if you should fail in your task, your punishment after your death shall be most painful. Just as the Shinigami disappears, two forms slowly come out of the portal in the ground. At first one figure has the rough form of a raccoon while the other resembles a cat, but they slowly morphs into a man at about Kyuubi's height with brown hair and a woman with black hair a couple inches shorter. Finally, I'm out of that kid's body, the man says. Not that I'm complaining about being freed, but I am slightly concerned about the girl now that she no longer has my power to protect her. The woman adds, I don't want to see her appearing in my domain anytime soon. That's why you are going to teach her how to fend for herself, or did you forget my instructions already? Ah, Kyuubi-sama, it's nice to see you again, the woman says. Oi, you darn fox. About time you show your face again, the man says, smirking. Do you still want to challenge me, you stupid raccoon? Kyuubi answers, returning the smirk with one of his own. Excuse me. What do you want, you stupid human child? The man screams. Why aren't Gaara and Yugito-chan waking up? Do not be concerned about your friends, the woman says, kneeling next to Naruto, they are merely exhausted. They should be fine in the morning. You and your father should be honored. No one survives meeting with Shinigami-sama once, yet both of you survived twice already. I wouldn't suggest tempting fate too often though, Shinigami-sama is most generous for forgiving you two twice. I see, are you, Nekomata? Naruto says as the woman nods, and he's Shukaku. That's right, brat. Surprised to see us in this form? Not really. Ginkgo-chan did say that powerful demons can take human forms. Ah yes, the kitsune brat. Never thought I'd see a kitsune grow so attached to a mere human. Be quiet, Shukaku. I for one think it's nice, the will those two showed in protecting each other. I never expected my daughter to grow a soft spot for him so quickly. They only spent 4 years with each other. Only 4. My, that is quite fast, Nekomata says. 4 years is fast. Naruto asks. Apparently you don't quite understand demons yet, young child, Nekomata says. We demons have much longer lifespan than mere humans, in terms of thousands or even tens of thousands compared to your mere decades. 4 years to us is a very short period of time. Of course, on a few rare cases, I do see human love continuing in my realm. Your realm. I believe your kind calls it the underworld. It is the realm I stay in with my master Shinigami-sama. No need to tell him everything. The fox will tell him in due time if he's planning what I think he's planning. I suppose you are correct, Shukaku. Did you find what you asked for, Kyuubi-sama? I'll have them sign the contract when they wake up. Or, you can give it to them yourselves, Kyuubi says, taking out 2 small summoning contract scrolls. Why are your summoning contracts so small? I've seen Ero Sennin's frog summoning contract and Orochimaru's snake summoning contract, they're huge. We are not meant to be summoned, Ginkgo says. Bakeneko, Tanuki, and Kitsune are all known to be shapeshifters. People would normally deem us too dangerous to summon. Not to mention the fact that we don't like to be summoned either. Of course, being shapeshifters also allows us to be more in tune with human behaviors. One reason that we tend to be more willing to work with people that we deem worthy, Nekomata says. Perhaps we should continue this conversation back at the house, Minato says. The two kids look like they can use a nice, soft bed. He's right. We've accomplished what we need to do here. Let's head back, Kyuubi says. The next morning, Gaara and Yugito groggily walk out of their respective room, bodies still weakened from what happened last night. When they get downstairs, they find Naruto's family along with Kyuubi and two people they've never met before sitting in the dining room enjoying breakfast. The two kids are finally up, Kyuubi says without looking up, his back facing the pair. Good, then we can get them to sign the contract, take care of who we need to take care of, and leave for training. Relax, Tanuki, can't you ever let someone have their meal in peace? If you eat everything in one go instead of playing with your food, you would have finished a long time ago like everyone else. Bakeneko. Would you two be quiet? Gaara and Yugito-chan still haven't eaten anything yet. The boy has guts talking to us like that, I'll give him that much. Gomen Shukaku-sama, Ginkgo says before turning to Naruto, you need to show Shukaku-sama and Nekomata-sama some respect. Naruto-san. Meh, I'm going to be the lord of all demons. I'll show them respect when they deserve it. Upon hearing Naruto's words, Ginkgo immediately blushes and looks down to her lap, fidgeting her fingers, a sign that Naruto has seen many times in his previous life and still has no idea the meaning of. Did you forget the stipulation that would make you the demon lord? Kyuubi asks, or are you no longer fighting against it? What? Naruto asks, completely missing Kyuubi's amused tone. The thing between you and Ginkgo-chan, Kushina reminds her son, you're not planning on doing nothing after you've embarrassed the poor girl like this, are you? I never really given it much thought. I mean, I just found out she can morph into a human a few days ago. Do you prefer that I stay in this form, Naruto-san? Ginkgo asks, again in a tone that Naruto knows well. I don't know. I guess you should take whichever form you're comfortable with. Stay in this form, might as well get used to it. You'll be training in this form if you wish to help Naruto in whatever he needs to do. Hi Chi-Chi-Yue, when are you going to organize the assassination mission? The quicker we get that done, the quicker we can start the training, the quicker they can finish, and the quicker we can get back to our world. Impatient as always Shukaku, but I agree, I'm sure both Shukaku and I would like to go back to our realm to check on our underlings after being away for so long. I was waiting until you have recovered from the extraction. I can assure you we most certainly have recovered, Shukaku says, flexing his muscle. Very well. I will arrange for it to happen tonight. Secret execution grounds, 5 miles north of the village gate. It's hidden under a strong genjutsu, only Anbu would know its exact location. I'm sure the three of us can see through the illusions, Kyuubi says, there may be some chakra spikes, I'm sure you can convince the others that it's only from Itachi and Shisui's fight against the Iwa Nins. There shouldn't be any problems there. Good, I guess Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will start getting ready. Later that night, the two Uchiha are leading the two semi-conscious Iwa Nins to the execution ground. They have placed a strong genjutsu on the two Iwa Nins to keep them from struggling. When they finally arrives, Itachi and Shisui remove the katana strapped on their back, looking to finish the job quickly. However, as soon as they enter the clearing, Kyuubi, hidden in the shadow with Shukaku and Nekomata, cancels the genjutsu on the two Iwa Nins just in time for the two prisoners to roll out of the way of the sword strike. The fight lasted for several minutes, each side landing multiple strikes. Soon enough, the two Iwa Nins lay dead in the clearing with Itachi and Shisui sporting several wounds. During the entire fight, Shukaku has been slowly turning the ground around the clearing into sand, and as soon as the fight is over, Itachi turns his attention on Shisui, trying to use the fight against the Iwa Nins as a cover for Shisui's death, but two walls of sand shoot up from the ground and engulfs the two Uchiha and within seconds both are completely crushed. As soon as the sand retreats and reveals the two bodies, Nekomata, using her power, reanimated the two Iwa nins to create a swamp to hide the sand, then create boulders to place on Itachi and Shisui's body to set a scene of them being crushed by the boulders before releasing her control, allowing the two carcasses to tumble to the ground. Leaping out of the tree, the three Biju check to make sure that all their targets are indeed dead. Satisfied with the job they've done, the three Biju leave the clearing to report back to the Hokage. Is it over? Minato asks, sitting in his office with a bottle of sake sitting on the desk in front of him. Yeah, we made sure of it, Kyuubi says. I'll send someone to pick up the bodies, Minato says, writing a mission slip and handing it to one of the messenger birds in the room. When are you going to take the children on the training trip? As soon as possible. It's probably too late at night to let the kids know. We'll head out the day after tomorrow. Very well. Don't worry about the kids, they'll be just fine, Kyuubi says, and don't feel guilty about the Uchiha. It's not an easy decision, but it's the right decision. I sure hope so. About 10 months after the three youngsters left the village, Kushina and Minato are becoming more and more concerned. They have not heard any news about the children, and Suna has been increasing its pressure on Konoha regarding the location of Gaara. Minato has been delaying the inevitable by stating that the children are on a secret training mission, but he just received a message from the Cage demanding that he recall the children and that the Cage will visit the village in a week. At the moment, Minato is pacing about in his office, trying to figure out a way to avoid this political disaster. Just as he is about to give up, the entire village is enshrouded by massive waves of chakra, but the chakra waves disappear just as quickly as it appeared. Alarmed, many ninjas gather at the village gate, in the general direction where the chakra originated. What they find there are four small, cloaked figures approaching the gate. With all the attention focused on the four figures, they completely miss the three figures hidden in the shadows of the trees. When some of the ninjas finally shake out of their stupor, they find the four figures have already walked past them in the direction of the Hokage Tower. Before the ninjas can stop them, Minato appears in front of the figures and engulfs one of them in a hug. Welcome home, children, Minato says, finally letting go of the figure. It's good to be home, Dad. When the figures remove their cloaks, all the ninjas present are surprised to find the three children that had been mysteriously missing for the past 10 months, along with a silver-haired young girl they have never seen before. I'm glad that the four of you are back. The Cage is visiting in a week and he's demanding to see Gaara. I figured we can't keep this a secret for too long, Naruto says. Well, at least we got back in time. Yes, and I bet Kushina will be thrilled to know that you four are back. Speaking of which, that was quite an impressive trick. That was just Kyuubi-sama, Nibi-sama, and Ikibi-sama, Ginkgo says. They are hidden in the shadows. That'll get some unwanted rumors going, Naruto says, looking back toward the ninjas still gathered at the gate. It would appear that way. I'm sure my father will catch wind of this display as well. We can use that to our advantage. Look at how strong you got after this secret training. Surely your father can't complain about the result, Naruto says. And I'm sure Kuma will regret giving up on me after hearing what just happened. You do not need to be concerned. Shinigami-sama cannot be happy that the people of Kumo sealed Nekomata-sama in you. They will feel the wrath of Shinigami-sama eventually, Ginkgo says. Let's go home. It's starting to feel weird having all these people staring at us, Naruto says. Yeah, you're right. As soon as they walk through the doors, Naruto is tackled to the ground by Temari and Koyuki. It's not until Ginkgo practically tears the two girls away from Naruto forcefully with a low growl that the two girls acknowledge the other two former Jinchuriki. While he doesn't show it, Gaara is fuming that his sister passed over her own brother for another boy. Look, Minato-kun, our little boy is all grown up. You're right, Kushina-chan. He's turning into a heartbreaker. Mom. Dad. Don't be ridiculous. Minato-kun, we should invite Tsunade-ba-chan and the others over for a welcome back feast tonight. That's a good idea, Kushina-chan. I bet they miss Naruto after not seeing him for so long. I'll send someone to tell them. I got it, Mom, Naruto says, creating a cage bunshin and sending him off. I'm heading back to my room. Wake me up when they get here, okay? With Temari and Koyuki's attention focused on Gaara and Yugito, they miss the fact that Ginkgo is following Naruto up to his room. While they heard part of the story from Gaara and Yugito, the two girls still have no idea about the handshake agreement between Naruto and Kyuubi regarding Ginkgo's future. Another thing they don't know is that there is a second handshake agreement, this one between Ginko and Yugito. When Tamari and Koyuki ask the two Jinchuriki to train with them, Yugito says she needs to rest up and heads upstairs, leaving Gaara with the two girls. Instead of going back to her own room, Yugito heads into Naruto's room, where Naruto is already lying in his bed trying to go to sleep and Ginko is sitting on the floor watching him. The two girls' eyes meet for a brief moment and Yugito casts a genjutsu on Naruto, putting him to sleep immediately. Once that's done, both Ginko and Yugito jump into bed with Naruto, one lying on each side of the boy cuddling up against to him. That night, when Kushina walks into her son's room, she can't help but smile at the scene in front of her. Naruto is still in his bed, his arms around the two girls' shoulder. The two girls are cuddled up against him, their tiny hands clutching at Naruto's shirt. It's not until Naruto turns his head toward Kushina that she realizes her son is awake. Now, I expected you to wait a few years before you go sleeping around with girls. They put me under a genjutsu then sneaked in bed with me. Well, if they did, how did you break out of it? When my cage bunshin dispelled, it generated an influx of chakra that helps me break out of the illusion. Well, let's wake up the two girls, everyone is waiting downstairs. You do it. I want to see their reaction. You are a mean child, Naruto. Naruto winks at her mother before closing his eyes and pretends to be asleep. When Kushina goes and wakes Ginko and Yugito, Naruto can't help but smirk at how the two girls bolt upright, as evident from the sudden disappearance of the pressure from their head on his shoulders. Suddenly, Naruto lets out a soft groan, which causes the two girls to practically leap off his bed and hide behind Kushina. Reaching with his hand, Naruto pretends to rub the sleep out of his eyes and roll over on his side before slowly opening his eyes to see his mother smirking at him, silently telling him that the girls still haven't realized they are tricked. Sitting up, Naruto returns Kushina's smirk as the two girls slowly walks out of Naruto's room to clean up and get ready for dinner. You should have seen how red those two's face got when I woke them up, Kushina says as soon as the girls left the room. Oh, I can just imagine, Naruto says, applying a certain Hyuga's blush on the girl's face in his mind. Well, anyway, everyone's here so you should probably get ready. By the time Naruto gets downstairs, everyone is already gathered in the living room, talking and laughing. When they see Naruto enter the room, everyone becomes quiet, save for some soft snickering from Kushina. Naruto's here, maybe we should start dinner, Yugito says, blushing bright red. Yeah, I'm really hungry, Ginko says, her face matching Yugito's. Without even asking, Naruto already knows what they were talking about before he entered the room. Deciding to spare the two girls from further embarrassment, Naruto agrees with them and clamors for dinner to begin. As soon as everyone is seated, Tsunade reaches into her pocket and pulls out a few bottles of sake while talking to Kushina. Reaching into her weapons pouch, Tenten grabs one of her training kunai and fires it at the bottles. Before the kunai gets close enough for Tsunade to react, Naruto fires one of the unused chopsticks to intercept the kunai. Naruto-sama. Why did you do that? Okawa-san shouldn't be drinking. Come on, Tenten-chan. We're celebrating tonight. Let them have their small bit of fun, Naruto says. I guess Naruto-kun is right, Tenten. We should let Tsunade-sama have her fun tonight. She does have tomorrow off after all, so it's not like it's going to interfere with work. You too, Shizune-chan. Oh, fine. Don't expect me to help you carry her home. Despite how righteous Tenten tries to act, she along with the rest of the children beside Naruto are the first ones to get drunk as the adults decide to let them try a small bit of sake. Naruto, having seen the adults replace the water with sake, avoid drink anything for the entire meal. By the end of the meal, Naruto is the only one awake, which leaves him with the task of taking care of everyone. Creating a mass of kage bunshin, he moves everyone to their respective rooms before heading back to his own where he finds Ginko sitting in his bed waiting for him. Naruto-sama, you're back. Ginko-chan. I thought you're asleep. I'm sure you will find that I'm as adapted at pretending to be asleep as you are, Naruto-sama. Ah, so you knew. Naruto-sama, there is something I want to talk to you about, Ginko suddenly says. What is it, Ginko-chan? You are going to be attending the academy in a few months. Do you believe I should go with you in my fox form or my human form? Well, I'm not sure. I prefer the fox form. That way, I can be on the same team with you even if Yugito and Gaara are on the same squad. No matter which form you take, everyone will think something is wrong when the other form is missing. I can create a bunch of myself, but I need to stay away from the Inuzuka. They will be able to trace my scent. Yeah, you're right. Their nose is a big problem. If you stay in the fox form, your Bunchen can stay near Koyuki Heim and use her scent to cover yours, right? In a minor way, yes. I would also need your wallet. Why? Perfumes can cover my scent as well. Even weak perfumes can daze the Inuzuka if they try to enhance their sense of smell. But perfumes are pretty expensive. Chichi Yui will not be too happy that you are refusing to buy me things. Go ask my parents. I don't have any money, Naruto grumbles. But Naruto-sama, then it wouldn't be a gift from you. Don't give me that look, Ginkgo, Naruto says as he hears a few sniffle. I'll talk to my parents tomorrow. Arigato, Naruto-sama. Well, now that you've finally gotten that off your chest, Naruto says, why did you let Yugito-chan sleep with us? You don't like it. Ginkgo says, tilting her head to the side. Chichi Yui said that all boys like to have more than one girlfriend and the more the better. Arg, he's as bad as Ero Sennin, Naruto screams. Not that I'm upset with the arrangements, I'm more concerned if you are all right with it. Why wouldn't I be? It's not all that uncommon for demons to have multiple mates. Well, if you're sure. So, you're not upset? No, not really. Naruto-sama no eki. You call Chichi Yui a pervert, but you're just as bad, Ginkgo says, giggling. Do you wish for me to arrange for Tamari-san and Koyuki-san to stay with us as well? What? No. You can't just go about asking people to join like that. But they seemed like they want to join when Kushina-sama told everyone what happened when she woke Yugito-san and I up. You're kidding, right, Ginkgo-chan? No. I think they were really interested. That can't be right. They didn't show any interest in me before. But you changed a lot of things in this life already, right, Naruto-sama? But I didn't mean for it to change like that. Yawning, Ginkgo climbs under the cover and cuddles against her pillow. Seeing that Naruto is still standing next to the bed, Ginkgo reaches out and pulls Naruto into bed with her. It doesn't really matter whether you intend for it to happen or not, Ginkgo says. This is the way things are happening, you'll just have to deal with it. The question is how to deal with it. I'm sure you can figure something out, Ginkgo says. Now stop moving around and go to sleep. By the end of the week, news of Gaara's display of power has reached the ears of the Cage. When the Cage arrives in Konoha, he immediately demands that Gaara return with him to Suna. However, Gaara only needs to bring up the name Yashimaru to gain the support of both Kankuro and Tamari. When the Cage tries to force Gaara to return, Naruto and Yugito have to step in to prevent Gaara from using his sand to kill his own father. Seeing that he is outnumbered in Konoha, the Cage begrudgingly agrees to allow Gaara to enter the academy in Konoha, but he quietly vows to himself that he will take every opportunity to force Gaara back to Suna. Gaara's father won't let things go this easily, Naruto says when he and his father are the only ones left in the Hokage's office. We should keep an eye out on Suna. Suna is our ally. And Suna is also very angry with us right now, Naruto says, cutting off his father. Just because Gaara is living in Konoha now doesn't mean that Orochimaru won't contact Suna for a joint attack when the time comes. Sometimes I don't know whether to call you a genius or an idiot, Minato says, sighing. I'm not known as the #1 unpredictable ninja for nothing. Well, we can't do anything about it now. I'll just ask Jiraiya-sensei to use his spy network to keep an eye out on Suna, Minato says, gathering several documents on his desk. Well, these are the papers admitting you kids to the Ninja Academy. I just have to figure out how to enter Ginkgo. She and I talked about this before. She says she'll stay in her fox form through the academy. She wants to be on the same team as Gaara, Yugito-chan, and I. That would make things a lot easier. I don't need to come up with an excuse to cover her identity, although I should probably come up with one just in case people start asking about her human form. You can just say that she's the daughter of an old acquaintance of yours that he's leaving in your hands. I suppose that would have to do, Minato says. Shouldn't you be playing with your friends right now? I just want to think some things through, that's all. What's the problem? Remember that day when Gaara, Yugito-chan, and I came back? Mom probably told everyone what she found in my bedroom. Later that night, Ginko-chan told me that Tamari-chan and Koyuki-hime might feel that way as well. I told Kushina-chan, you'll turn into a heartbreaker. Dad, focus on the task at hand. Sure, son. What's the problem with having a few girlfriends? What's the problem? I feel bad enough that I'm making Ginko-chan and Yugito-chan share me. I can't possibly ask more girls to do the same thing. Well, there is something you should know, Naruto. When I became the Hokage, the council wanted me to take multiple wives to ensure that the Namikaze line continues. Of course, I was able to fight them off long enough for Kushina-chan to be pregnant, so they can't keep pushing that idea on me. But Kushina-chan and I aren't getting any younger, and I don't know if Kushina-chan can handle another pregnancy despite what Tsunade-ba-chan says. The council might try to push the same idea on you, especially since they consider you the hero that chased away the Kyuubi. Why not take advantage of it and take all 4 of them as your wives? But that doesn't solve the problem of me feeling guilty about having them share me. Did you consider that maybe they won't care? Minato says, I can tell you that many of the women offering themselves to me back then didn't mind the idea of sharing one bit. But those 4 girls aren't gold diggers like those women who offered themselves to you. You can always sit them down and talk to them to see how they feel, Naruto. Do you think it's easy to approach that subject? I can't just go up and ask them if they love me and do they want to share. All right, let me just get through these paperwork and we'll head home and talk to Kushina-chan. We can have her talk to the girls. It should be easier for her to broach the subject. I guess that'll have to do. Now that that problem is solved, I'll just have to get through these couple of piles. Why don't you ever use Kage Bunshin to help you do the paperwork? Kage Bunshin, Minato says, stopping suddenly. Why didn't any of the Hokage think of that idea before? Arg, you'd think someone with the title, the professor, would be able to come up with that idea. Maybe he wants you to figure it out on your own and suffer on the way there like he did. Muttering about selfish old men, Minato creates 5 Kage Bunshin and orders them to start working on the paperwork while he heads home with Naruto. After going through the situation with Kushina, she adds another name to the mix. What do you mean Tenten-chan likes me too? She's supposed to like Neji. Well, she hasn't met Neji yet now, has she? Kushina says. But, too late to change that now. I'd bet she's already heads over heels in love with you, Kushina says. There has gotta be some way to change that, right? All I wanted to do was to make Tsunade-ba-chan adopt Tenten-chan. I didn't think she would fall in love with me because of it. Like I said, too late to change that now. I'll have a sit down with all of them when I get the chance. But I don't even know how I feel about them. It's not a bad thing to have that many people love you, Naruto. But it's not fair to them that I. Naruto, don't worry about it. Just let things come as they will, Minato says. Don't change how you are because you're worried how things would turn out. Remember what I told you in the office, Naruto. I think that might be the best course of action. But don't worry, Naruto. Kushina says, you wouldn't believe how many love letters your father got back in the days. Hey, it's not that long ago, Minato complains. Be quiet. I'm talking to Naruto. Kushina says, like I was saying, your father received plenty of love letters, and I wasn't angry at him at all. I'll talk to the girls and make them understand the situation. If they can't handle it, then I'll suggest for them to back off. If they can, why don't you give it a try? Fine. Naruto says before whispering to himself, I gotta be more careful in the future. What did I tell you about letting things come naturally, Naruto? Minato says. What's so natural about having this many girlfriends? It's good to know that Ero Sennin hasn't corrupted you yet, Naruto, Kushina says, but Minato-kun is right. Don't let this change who you are. Besides, it's perfectly natural for girls to be fawning all over us, Naruto. It's a curse that we Namikaze must bear. Smiling, Kushina turns her attention on Minato. If Minato is paying attention like Naruto is, he would notice that the smile seems slightly off. Grabbing Minato by the ear, Kushina drags Minato upstairs, twisting it with every step, leaving the Hokage screaming in pain all the way back to their room. The next day, after a particularly grueling training session with his father, Naruto stumbles back to his room only to find it completely empty. Looking back toward the door, he finds his mother leaning against the door frame smiling at him. What happened to my room, Mom? Naruto asks, sighing. This isn't your room, dear. What do you mean this isn't my room? Naruto asks again, quickly getting tired of the conversation. This was your room yesterday, but since Tsunade Ba-chan says that she's moving in, your father and I decide to give her this room. So where is my room now? Down the hall, the second master bedroom. What am I going to do with a huge room like that? Naruto asks, completely awakened by the news. Well, you are the second master of this house. Beside, you'll find enough use for it soon enough, Kushina says. Now why don't you go take a shower and get changed like your father? I'll call the two of you downstairs when dinner's ready. All right, Mom, Naruto says, walking past Kushina and down the hall. And I expect you to help Tsunade Ba-chan move her things over tomorrow, Kushina says, calling after her son. Fine, Naruto says, walking into his room. The first thing Naruto notices when he enters his new room is the absurdly large bed sitting against the wall opposite of the door. Then he notices the numerous closets lining the walls off to his left. Thinking nothing of it, he picks up the fresh change of clothes on his bed and heads to the private bathroom in his room. Half an hour later, Kushina is standing outside the bathroom pounding on the door. What are you doing in there? Hurry up. Dinner's ready. All right, Naruto says, opening the door. I've never seen a private bath as large as that. I bet I can swim in it. For now you can. It's really only designed to fit two adults comfortably, Kushina says, remind me to get a bigger one for you later. Looking at his mother in confusion, Naruto quietly follows his mother downstairs, where all the other occupants of the house is sitting around the dinner table waiting patiently for the last member to arrive. As punishment for making everyone wait, Kushina makes Naruto stay behind after dinner to wash the dishes. Even after feeling refreshed from the bath, Naruto is completely drained by the time he drags himself upstairs. After stumbling in and out of his old room, he opens the door to his new room, takes a look inside, before going back to the hallway to check if he's in the right room. What's wrong, Naruto-sama? Ginkgo asks from inside the room. What are you girls doing here? This is our room, at least, Kushina-sama says so, Yugito says. And after our talk with Kushina-sama, I think she's right, Tamari says. Why don't you come in and join us, Koyuki says, walking up behind Naruto and wrapping her arms around his waist. I think there is going to be another person moving into this room tomorrow. Pushing Naruto into the room, Koyuki kicks the door close before shoving him into bed. With a squeal, the girls all jump into bed with Naruto and fight for the spots next to Naruto so they can cuddle against him. Sighing, Naruto waits until the girls finally calm down before trying to go to sleep.